Hello and welcome to Infamous, the audio podcast. This is Brandon, or Mutilus on Discord.
This is Jeremy, and Diablo 4 is dead to me on Discord and everywhere else.com, #/Diablo's dead.
And this is Nigel, and I agree, Diablo's dead. Fallout 76, let's go!
At this point, I'm trying to just avoid playing it to increase the metric that nobody plays that game anymore.
Fallout 76 or Diablo?
Diablo. I've never seen a company just literally just put the gun in their mouth like that. Like, it was such a terrible decision.
I mean,
guys, why would people not like their characters being nerfed by 30% on a random Wednesday patch? Is that something people don't like? And then we'll admit online the next day that we made a mistake and then not fix it. Is very good.
Blizzard?
All right,
yeah. What's that?
I was just going to move into announcements. You got something else?
Blizzard's the crown prince of, like, Blizzard came out with the game, Path of Exile, basically expanded on, like, Dota's and Path of Exile are games that, like, live because Blizzard kind of let the ball drop a little bit. And then Blizzard is like the king. When they want to come back and kill you, it's fucking over. Except for they're fucking old and fucking out of touch. They don't know what the fuck's going on anymore. They're a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
Granddad's not got pants.
Yeah.
Granddad's drunk again.
Sleepy Joe wandered in. It's out of control.
Cool. All right, so Parker has 1,902 probationary episodes, and he's not here today.
He's going to be fine. He's going to be fine.
I checked the notes, and we still owe Parker a punishment that we've never given him. So this makes 2 Parker punishments that we still owe him. So, Jeremy, I want you to start that hamster wheel up and just let me know when you think of something truly devious.
I'm working on it. I will. You know what? Nope, that's not bad enough. I'll get you.
Yeah.
I'll get it.
We'll get it. It's going to involve something really dark. Maybe we'll just actually swat him during the podcast one time.
Is there any way to make him play himself?
I can make him sit down and watch all of the battle reports that he's in. Like, every minute of them. And they're all like 2.5 hours, because, man, he plays real slow.
That's true. Man, that would be...
That's like 30 hours. He's only played like 3 battle reports.
No one deserves that.
No one deserves that. All right. Also, I will say, look for possible Infamous items on the Muse on store in the future. We'll make some announcements when things become official, but we're looking into having some official merch on the Muse store.
Yeah, the dice boxes and whatever else you guys needed. Yeah,
I've got a whole list of items that are going to be hopefully on the Muse store. Also, official Infamous dice will be available through the Muse store. You can reach out to him and get those there. Those should actually be out very soon.
I mean, they're going to be 6-sided, so it's totally useless.
No, they're D8s. They're definitely D8s.
Hand carved out of one piece of wood.
Yeah, carved out of one piece of wood. And all the symbols are hammered in whalebone, so they're real nice.
Yeah,
real nice.
No, but in all seriousness, look for a lot of new updates for Infamous stuff in the future. I have a lot of stuff in the fire that's all coming to a head all at once, so we'll have a lot of announcements next week.
We've sold of the dice boxes. I think you guys represent like 95% of the dice boxes.
Hell yeah!
Just dropping the elbow like that.
Just that first weekend of like what I don't know if I brought 10 or 15 or whatever over. I've sold like 2 since.
Well, I'll probably do like a YouTube video on like showing how cool the box is at some point, but it's pretty sweet.
If you could finish the top insert, that would be amazing.
The top insert. You mean the little the thing for the tokens? Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Business chaos.
I understand.
I actually cannot wait for business chaos to be over. I think again at the end of 45 days, business chaos week or business chaos month will be over, and then I'll be a smooth brain operator.
We did a 5,000 square foot complete renovation, and I know exactly how you feel.
Yeah,
like it was just like, I'm working 16-hour days, and I've worked 16-hour days for the last 28 days, and then someone's like, when are you going to be done? It's like, I will literally stab you in the face with a fucking hot poker. Like, leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on to news. Let's see. How do I put this? Atomic Mass Games has heard your questions and refuses to answer, I think is the official stance.
Sky is falling. Sky is falling.
I legitimately am excited. So they basically post in here that there's going to what their new like announcement schedule is going to be. And it sounds like they're going to do a live stream just before Gen Con, which is in probably by the time you're hearing this. No, it'll be next week. Okay, so
I think it's Tuesday next week, right? They said they're going to do an announcement the 2nd.
Yeah. So within the next week after hearing this, there's going to be a cool announcement. But yeah, I would just keep an eye out. There's news coming. I know it's been very dry lately, but stuff's in the works. So.
But otherwise, we're waiting till August. So next week's an announcement, and then the big announcement's August mini extravaganza. Pretty awesome, though. Like the words, I don't know.
My personal prediction is that we're going to get another one of these like X-Men / X-Force videos of like, here's the new affiliation that's coming. I think that's what we're going to get on Tuesday. And then we'll get more information after that.
I don't know.
I think it's going to be the 2.0.
Mark II coming, huh?
Yeah, I think the Gen Con is going to be the 2.0 box.
Yeah. I know Aaron's not here, but he told us just before we went on the cast that he thinks it's going to be Core Set 2.
Yeah.
So it's a new core box.
I think that's what I'm saying. I don't think it'll be the full rewrite of rules, but I do think it'll be a core set.
Okay.
I
would be blown away if they're like, we're rewriting everything. Like that would really, really stun me. I would be surprised if there was a new core set because they push back every time people have asked on that specifically for a lot of different reasons. Like it's really annoying for stores to have to stock multiple core sets. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I would be really surprised.
Isn't there so legitimately, is there not just a Spider-Man card floating around that just has the fucking wrong stats on it?
Correct.
No,
Peter.
Peter is just wrong.
He's just wrong. They never actually released a new card. You can't digitally. I don't even think you could print a good card.
You can't get it.
He's got 6 on the back.
You have to buy. You have to buy the combo kit thingy or something.
The affiliation pack.
What?
No.
The new affiliation pack. Yeah.
Yeah, it comes in the new affiliation pack.
But if you got the core box or the versus pack, you're basically shove that up your ass. But then
correct those. So if you're just saying that there's more cards that they need to reprint that have been errated, yes, that is 100% true. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a 2023 card pack announcement.
But I mean, what percentage of core Peter players got into Peter with this new box?
Oh, sure, that's small number, but also like how many people play Malekith that don't have a correct card? How many people play Sam that don't have a correct card?
Yeah.
Like a lot of these cards have been errated and just haven't been updated.
Yeah.
Like it's not just a Peter Parker issue.
Yeah.
And so I'm all for them doing more updated cards. I'm 100% for that. I want it to happen. I'm just saying I don't see a new core set coming out. If you're like, we're re-releasing the original core set with updated cards.
Whoa. You clearly don't listen to Muse.
Didn't
you hear so like Nathan Gerard from the Gamers Guild, he had a video that I thought was pretty coherent from Adepticon, where in their panel they had the core box art. It was all of the core box characters minus Doc Ock and Spider-Man fighting, but it was like Mohawk Miss Captain Marvel. And so it was, this was the backdrop. So when they were doing all the announcements, the backdrop art was in some way informing a story. Now, granted, like, for example, on our cast, Josh was like, people just commission art all the time and who cares? It doesn't mean anything. But like,
I'm here for the Josh slander. This is fine.
But
just don't tell him I said that because he'll stop giving me free beer.
But I do think that's interesting that they did commission art that was a reimagining of the core box.
Mm-hmm.
Sans the characters that got shoved out into the faction, like the affiliation boxes. That is extremely suspicious, right? So like if they do a new core box and it's got Mohawk Captain Marvel.
Seems more relevant now that people are talking about second core box, but is that the reason they're talking about second core box? Like, is it the Inception thing? Where it's like the only reason we're talking about it is because we saw the splash art? Again, I don't see them doing a new core set, but I could definitely see them doing an updated core set with better models and new card orientations and stuff like that.
I'm a huge believer in the smoke is where there's smoke, there's fire nonsense, sure. And
so I point blank to Aspagani at Adepticon. If we were ever going to get an all-inclusive card pack update that has all of the cards with the new formatting. And he said, absolutely not. Mm-hmm. Not like I can't say. He said, absolutely that is never going to happen. So I'm just forever sad because my OCD makes my cards want to be the same direction. Yeah, and I can't do that.
Yeah, no, I agree. That would be nice.
I think it'd be nice if they just gave us the print-to-play ability on all of the cards with a new template, and we could go print them at, like, Drive-By CCG or something if we wanted to.
I mean, they've done that with Crises, so there's no reason why they can't.
Exactly. That's like, the money is clearly not in the physical cards. People want to buy the models, so...
That would be the sort of thing that nobody's been guessing about Mini Stravaganza, is they might be above and beyond... If you think about like how they built their business in almost like a microtransaction-y, paywalled content thing, like, you know, if you wanted fallback, you had to have Hulkbuster type shit, or if you wanted, Escort to Safety, you needed to have Sam Wilson or something. Like I think they've grown past the need to do that shit, and they've kind of not designed that way in the last year. Like it's been
I feel like Asmodee kind of pushed them in that direction, and then after they saw the sales, they realized that wasn't true.
I don't think that if sales mattered, they would keep doing it because there's no way that it hurt them. Zero.
Well, I just think once you see the data that says, because in X-Wing that was 100% true, right? So I think Asmodee was like, no, you need to put important cards in these boxes. And then they showed their like sales report and saying, no, all the boxes are selling about equally. Like there isn't a heavy lean towards these specific boxes. Most players that play the game buy the vast majority of the releases.
I don't think that that's true. I think
it's definitely not as true as it used to be.
Yeah.
Because when the game first dropped, it was 100% of players were like, oh, I buy everything, is what it felt like. Yeah, and because, so nowadays, less so for sure, because there's just so many items.
Yeah. And I mean, now you don't even need to, because the cards are like, they're only cards that are for the characters, so you don't need them. So you don't need all the characters anymore. You don't need the random. I mean, they don't need to. So they really went the other direction. Mm-hmm. All they have to do is drop a random Crisis here and there to make sure people buy these fucking guys. Like, Crisis are the ones you have to get, as long as they don't make those printable.
I really don't think they plan on releasing Crises in packs anymore.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah.
It could be. We'll see. My speculation is still we're just going to get a video a lot like the Deadpool video, where it's just going to be like, here's what's coming next.
On Tuesday like or in Mini Extravaganza?
On Tuesday. Yeah. And then in Mini Extravaganza, they'll expand on it.
Yep. Yeah, it's an interesting time. The thing, too, you have to, like, cycle... They had, like, a sort of a content desert for a second there, and it was a little boring. And... if it was very easy to like get tripped up by sort of like meta diversity, the sort of meta at the time. But then like I sort of dug in. I was like, you know what? Every game I've ever played, I've kind of done this. Like when I feel like the content is slow, the updates are slow, the innovation's slow. You sort of want to check out until like the thing comes. You basically like rather than engage in the game, you basically wait for them to like coddle you. And so I'm like, no, fuck that. I'm going to dig my heels in and keep playing. And also, like, the odds are whatever experience you gain by continuing will be relevant. Like, they're not going to, like, reinvent the wheel. They're, you know, even if it's Mark II, right? So it's like, I see a lot of people like this. So, for example, last December before the Crisis update, there were people who they should be, you know, if you want an Infamous t-shirt, you should call them and ask them, who said that they couldn't play, they basically couldn't get even a half chub over MCP anymore because they knew the updates were coming. And so, like, why play games that are going to be irrelevant in like 2 weeks, which is such a bizarre, take.
Yeah. I don't like that take.
I don't like that take, but I get it because I've been there, right? We've done, as War Machine players, we've done this like over and over again.
Well, I was the opposite. I was the guy jamming Mark II games before Mark III came because I was like, I'm never going to be able to play this list again. And I love this list. And I was out there just fucking grinding card chip games.
Yeah. Can we point out how much of a genius David Carl actually might have been? I think he's so underrated. And then when he left, everybody kind of like gave Hungerford and Pagani a lot of like people just kind of just misidentified. But I think David Carl had a plan and like an idea and then stuck to it and then was rigid about it and it eventually got him ousted. But like, ultimately it was such a good backbone. Like, yeah. Anyways, so things I think about now with MCP, I'm like, who was the genius, really?
All I know is I remember the day when I was at Gen Con and they released the idea of tier lists in War Machine. And me and my friend, who played competitively, like hardcore competitive games our entire lives, looked at each other and were like, this isn't going to fucking work out. And sure enough, that was the fucking flagship. Yeah. And the whole thing fucking tanked over a bunch of years. Anyway, that's a whole discussion. But yeah.
No, it's interesting. When tier lists came out, they were memes. Like tier lists was like the introduction of microtransactions in miniature games. Everybody thought it was suspect.
Yeah.
This is just an excuse to make you buy 2 million Doom Reavers or 2 million Berserkers or 2 million. Like they knew it was a meme, and it was just going to be it was either going to be garbage or broken. There's almost like no way it could be in between or balanced or interesting or whatever. But honestly, I missed the Mark II version of it because it was mostly bad. And honestly, like the Berserker spam list and the Doom Reaver list are the only 2 tier lists that I can even think of that ever gets mentioned. And they were memes. Like I destroyed those Doom Reaver lists. And the Berserker lists were never relevant either. Like they were relevant. Like you see like the occasional like tournament where some guy would just get the perfect amount, like the perfect opponents. But like that's what it required. It required you to get this RNG of opponents that like allowed you to do whatever the stupidest things ever. But that was also in a format that required you to alternate your lists, right? You couldn't even play the same. If you came with 2 lists, both
Wasn't
had to have been played.
Yeah. It's strange now looking back, for sure.
Yeah.
You guys talking about
the tier list stuff?
Yeah. That shit used to tilt me so hard. I can't believe how many podcasts I would melt. Like
Divide and Conquer.
Yeah, Divide and Conquer. Let me just play Ocean's 18 or whatever I'm playing all through the tournament, and I have my silver bullet versus the thing I hate.
Did you know that Shatterpoint picked up DNC?
Yes, I 100% do know that, and it's 100%. I'm already, as a competitive game. Again, I've said this on my cast a lot that I agree with Aaron wholeheartedly that it's more fun than MCP. It is way less competitive. Like there's zero. Don't even think about this game at a tournament. Just period. Just play it on Saturday with your fucking friends and beers and have a goddamn good time for 3 hours. It's a slow game. It's very fun. Please don't take it serious. It's so stupid. It's such a fucking dumb game. But yes, it is very fun though. It is a very fun game.
I don't want people to think we're intentionally shitting on it. I think it's probably a fine game.
I don't think, again, it's more fun than MCP, but that's just, you have to play it to know, but trust me, if you do, you'll know that like it is nonsense. Like if you're taking it to be competitive and go to tournaments, the idea of playing that in a tournament ever is the stupidest thing I've ever even. No, I'm just not doing it. I'm not even thinking about it. I don't care. People who do care, they want to make content and think about it and be sweaty. I don't care. I don't relate to those people. They're dumb. I don't care.
Do you want to know something that has warmed my heart over the last few days? Is basically every 30 minutes to an hour at the store that I work at, somebody will come in and shit all over 40K. And it is but that's not the funny part, right? Like I deal with people complain about games the whole time. The funny part though is that the things that they say is exactly what we were all saying when we knew War Machine was going down.
Ooh,
like
really?
Almost point for point. It's like I don't know what it's like they just don't want you to be able to have fun. Like it's just like it's they're just trying to force you to play specific things. Like they're just like it was so weird.
Games Workshop at this point is so old that it's cyclical. Like they've had phases of that, so
exactly. No, but it's just funny because like But there generally is a new generation of players that pick up the torch after it gets put down.
Yeah.
And so I feel like there's like 7th edition was universally hated for the most part. Like not a lot of people like 7th edition. 6th edition was much the same. It was just not as bad. But they didn't say those things. They weren't saying like the trigger words where it's just like, I might be actually done. It, like they usually is like, fuck this game, I'm not playing this game anymore. Like they would just say things out of frustration. And now it's like the frustration's been there for over a month. And now they're starting to get to the like, they're actually looking at what their life would be like without 40K in it. And they're like contemplating if that's a bad thing. And I'm not saying I'm trying to get them out of 40K. I'm just saying like, it's just an observation I've made.
Yeah.
And the number of people that came in just on Tuesday. It was like 6 different people that were there at different times not talking to each other. We're all just like, same thing, same thing, same thing. And then they were just like melancholy, like, all right, well, I guess I'm just going to go home.
Yeah.
And just left. It was crazy.
You're like, you know what? We've got this new game. It's over here. I don't know if you've ever heard of
Dude, I got
Hulk.
a demo set up for Thursday.
I don't know if you've ever heard of The Incredible Hulk or this other guy, Spider-Man, but there's a game.
Shout out to Jim. Jim is getting a demo with me today. Some locals will know that Jim is the lifer 40K player.
Yeah.
Jim is coming in on Thursday for MCP.
We don't judge. We'll take anyone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's not true. There's definitely people.
We'll take you, but we'll kick you right out.
No.
That's
anyway
true.
Cool. Moving on past news and announcements. We've got currently playing. I'll go first just because I'm going to get out of the way. I'll give you times to make up something that you pretend that you've been playing. I've been playing Web Warriors lately.
Nice.
I'm practicing a potential WTC list. I was playing the Web of Evil list, and then Jeremy told me I need to stop playing 7-pointers in the league. And so
You son of a bitch.
I guess I beat Aaron with a 7-pointer, but we hand shook that he counted as a 5-pointer.
In this infamous Limbo League?
Yeah, the Limbo League.
hate you.
Yeah.
Don't start that, you motherfuckers. There is no such thing.
There is every such thing. Anyway, it's been pretty fun. I'm trying a build that has a go narrow drop, and I like that a lot. It's like a sneaky fun list. So you get Crimson Dynamo. Like you get normally the problem with Web Warriors, you get stuck on like a Demons or a Gamma mission, and it's like, man, can I really outscore this guy fast enough? And so I put in like Crimson Dynamo / Mysterio. And it's actually super fun because they come slamming into you. You're like, well, Grand Illusion's up, so like, can you actually kill these guys? And then they can't. And then if you're playing like 19 points, then you get like, you get Dynamo and Mysterio, and you've got like Grand Illusion plus the Tricks and Traps, and you've got Disruption Pod, and what is it? It's Witty Banter, and then also the Miles Leadership, and then it's just hilarious. Like, I played one mission against our local Josh, and he slammed into me with a Mortal Hulk on Siege of Darkness turn, and literally dealt 0 damage, because he just, like, you do the math, and he actually does 0 damage, and it's scary. Like, it's just like, oh, cool, so you got 7 dice, cool, so you get 4 hits, reroll your wild on another one, in case they hit a second wild, you're like, cool, reroll that one too with Witty Banter. Also, all your skulls are crits and don't explode, and then I get 6 defense dice effectively. Which is like, yeah, you do 0. And he's just like, what do you do when Immortal Hulk can't deal damage? Like, you lose the game. Like, there's no way you can win that game. It's pretty funny. But yeah, it also has the usual suspects for go wide. But it's been pretty fun. Jeremy, what have you been playing?
So I've been playing the Black Order Corvus Leadership. I just love Ebony Maw. Like,
he's fun.
I mean, I don't know if I love Ebony Maw as much as I love murdering Steve Rogers, Captain America, and also Black Panther. Both of those models can go fuck themselves, and Ebony Maw loves to murder both of them just straight dead, get off the table, and get the fuck out of here. And folks usually aren't used to that because they're like, there's nothing you can do about these guys because they're... And I'm like, yeah, there is. And then the other side of the coin is there's a bunch of 3-pointers in the list as well. So I've ran the list with a bunch of 3-pointers. I've ran it with Ghost Rider, basically, and a bunch of 3-pointers running around. And I've also run it with the Corvus Leadership. And it's just really fun. I just kill some models. Everybody, I look at them and I go, "You guys going to do your job today?" And they just go, "I don't know. I got a card. I'll try it. We'll do some shit." And they run around and do stuff, and it's fun. It's just fun, good list, whatever. It's funny because like the expectations of the Corvus leadership, it's taking up a tactic slot. It ain't that great. It does what it does, and you're just like, y'all gonna have to carry some weight. Like that's just all there is to it. So it's like the expectations are so low, like you have to make it work. So whatever. But it's fun. I've been winning some games, so it's all good.
Nice.
I've been playing X-Men, but unfortunately it's had Storm at the helm.
Uh-oh.
And I've been
That's a
been
struggle.
So you're basically just playing like a casual X-Men list, not like a try-hard list that doesn't have a leader.
Correct. Yes. I'm but I am playing Colossus, OG Wolverine, and Cyclops. you know I got to keep it real.
You got to win when you have to win. I understand.
Yeah, exactly. But I got to say that I didn't realize
what didn't you realize?
How good those models. So when you play Colossus, you get really frustrated like every other game with just like how much displacement fucks him. When you play Storm and you don't care about all that displacement was hilarious. Like the amount of times her leadership allows you to, after all the displacements and everything else, and you're like thinking about your turn and you're like, I'm going to do a fastball play. And you're like, they're like, no, because Colossus is actually in the path of Wolverine. And you're like, well, I'm going to fucking Storm Hop. And fucking he's not going to be in the way. And then I'm going to, oh man, you just get so many clever plays and interactions with the cards and everything. Just the Storm Hop makes things so live. It actually just polishes Colossus to like this gorgeous diamond, like where he's just actually good. I've been loving it. And then I thought about it objectively, and I was like, well, I'm like 1-2 or 1-3 in my last 4. But they were all very close games. And honestly, dice haven't been friendly to me. But then I rethought about it. When people say dice aren't, like bad, they probably were kind of engaging the game in the wrong way. Like they weren't taking the throws or their activation order, their order of activations. Like they weren't throwing people off points with Storm or, and I was just thinking about like, okay, if I'd like focused, like when dice go bad for you, it's because you're thinking you're attritioning, and then of course dice will go bad for you then, especially when you're playing like a mid-range dog shit team from fucking 4 years ago. But like, yeah, I don't know. I've had a blast. Like she changes that. Colossus is such a piece of shit with cover all the time, and he's like bodyguard because they'll displace him, and then he can storm hop back to an area where he bodyguards, and because he's just barely back into relevance, he's getting cover. So he's like bodyguarding with cover. Just the weirdest stuff happens with him. It's fantastic. I love it. So, anyways, that's just what I've been playing, and I've completely revamped my. And I haven't even played that much Cyclops with it. I've just been playing other stuff. But like Cyclops, if you think about it, if you're subscribing to all those models, he's not that bad because field leader and like they actually combo him and Storm combo with each other because he's got cover and then he quick draw McGraws you. So he's got cover. He's got 5 defense dice. If he blanks you, he fucking does 2 damage. He then moves her. He can move her with field leader, which then causes a storm hop to happen. And then you've got to come to me, my X-Men and all the cards. They're a very fun team if you play the core dudes. Like it's actually not bad. It's like
so what you're saying is people just need to man up and play Colossus and Wolverine.
Yeah, 1,000,000,000%. I did have a game though. Wolverine got flipped. Had his 11 dice attacks. I used exceptional healing. He was left on 1. I had the 11 die Berserker Barrage into an 8 die. I'm the best at what I do. Did a total of 0 fucking damage between the 2 attacks. I was pretty frustrated.
But it sounds like you paid the cable bill right there.
I paid the cable bill. I really but that is rare. You just have to
dice are dice.
Yeah,
I had a similar thing with Gamora and Thanos. It's like, dude, you spend a death decreed injured Gamora with with a winging it token into some dickhead, and he's just like, I rolled 3 defense dice. And you're like, I got 1 on 12. I guess you got me.
Yeah, I was playing, just an aside, I was playing against Web Warriors in that situation, and yeah, it's like, okay. They roll like 4 or 5 defense dice trivially, so it's like, if you don't roll spectacularly, you're not doing anything.
I have a question for you. Did you say a moment ago that you were using the Stormhawk to get Wolverine and Colossus lined up for the fastball special?
To get them out of each other's way. So like, if Colossus throws Wolverine and Wolverine's body goes over Colossus's base, he would stop. Like, Colossus doesn't ignore.
So they actually fixed that. Did you not know that?
No, I didn't.
So there was a pseudo errata on the rules forums, one of the better changes they've made, and so props to them. Any character playing a card is considered to be performing the action. And so it's same thing with Do You Know Who I Am? You can fastball special Wolverine through Colossus, because Colossus is considered to be performing the throw.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, never mind.
They fixed that. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's still very useful, because obviously you can set it up, but you don't need to worry about missing Colossus with the throw anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it is good to know. That was very relevant. I was able to do clever things to like avoid like legality issues. Interesting. Because if like if you've got Beta Ray Bill and you want to throw Black Cat into Thanos or something, and Beta Ray Bill ignores himself, right? Yeah. But
if you did a tactics card to do it in the past, he wouldn't. Like, Do You Know Who I Am? If you play Do You Know Who I Am, you cannot throw somebody through yourself, even though Hulk can like suplex people and throw them through himself. So they fixed that. Now you can.
You can, or you can't?
You can.
Oh, you can. Yeah, I thought you could.
Yeah.
Why?
Okay. Well, originally you could not, and they fixed it by saying that the people playing the cards are considered to be performing the actions.
Oh, okay. I know what you mean.
Yeah. So it's been fixed. It actually was fairly shortly after the Juggernaut was released. It was just not well known. Because again, if you want to learn how to play a game, you don't generally go to an archaic format such as a rules forum to try and look up random forum posts by people you don't know to try and figure out like why the rules work a certain way. But, especially when it's actively changing core rules. But, it is the way it is.
I trust them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I understand why they get to a lot of rulings, but it's also causes about as many problems as it fixes. But like I said, this is one of the great things that the rules forum has brought us, so good job on that. All right, so that's our currently playing.
Yeah.
In recent events, Nigel, are you aware that we had a huge storm during Show Me?
I am.
Yeah. So in my neighborhood, a bunch of people had trees fall literally on their house. There's still a guy on my street that has a tarp over the front of his house because there's a hole into his house because a tree fell on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned about like orange trees and like white ash, oak, osage, orange,
silver,
whatever.
Maple.
Yeah, maple pants, whatever. Like, you guys had all the
Yeah. When the gang speaks for the trees.
Yeah.
So I had a bunch of storm damage. I needed to have someone come and look at my shingles, and I really was worried about how much it was going to cost to get it all fixed. But my neighbor told me not to worry about the cost of a roof because it's on the house.
Bam.
Nope.
Did you like that one, Jeremy?
Nope.
You did not like that one?
Nope. The squeeze was not worth the juice on that one.
All right, well, do you know when a joke becomes a dad joke?
At what point?
When the punchline becomes apparent.
I fucking hate you. That's enough.
I like that one. That was a good one.
That was kind of cute.
That was kind of cute. Even Jeremy liked that one.
That warmed my heart a little bit.
Yeah. I no longer want to go out and hit a puppy right in the face.
Aww.
Oh, boy. Oh. So, did you ever look up what was up with these bike things, or the bike thing that was going through town? Because you said there was like 2 bikes standing next to each other, like they're like attached to each other?
So, it's called Ragbri, and it is a marathon that goes from Minneapolis through Des Moines to somewhere. I don't know where or care.
Hopefully not Kansas City.
I thought that, Minneapolis to Des Moines is indicating a southerly direction. So it makes sense if it went through. But anyways, yes, they literally shut down, it's like Moses parted the sea, only the sea is traffic, and there's like a column that it basically splits like some sort
Des
of
Moines
bizarre.
straight in half.
Yeah, and then nobody can cross from the east to the west while these dumbasses are herding through in their little Lance Armstrong pants. It's crazy. I didn't think it was real. I didn't take it serious. I ignored all the warning signs. Jeff Goldblum was literally screaming in my window, and I didn't care, and I was wrong.
Price. You paid.
I paid the price. I got the
price.
meteor right to the fucking face. I was on the beach when the meteor hit. I fucking got the tidal wave.
Jeremy, do you know why a bicycle can't stand on its own? Because it's too tired. It's got too tired.
Can we talk more about the Marvel podcast stuff?
I just want to set a solid pace, man. I have barely made a dent.
I don't want to do this anymore.
I want to thank everybody for the good birthday wishes that I got via Discord messages.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. All right. So moving on, we have a topic today. The topic is tentatively titled "Big Need for Big Guys." Nigel, do you want to lead us off?
Sure. This, I don't even know if I can do the topic justice, but essentially, Follow Me got banned, Deception got restricted. Whether or not you agree with those two moves, mostly the community's like super cool with it.
Well, I can tell you Parker didn't like it. He's still fuming.
He has a dissertation.
Okay, well, we'll get into the dissertation real quick, but never mind. The point is, it took a campaign of whiny babies a year to get those two things, and now the whiny babies have gotten like validation that those occurred. They're now moving on to the next targets, which is that we
mouse and cookie stuff. Yeah,
we need to nerf Malekith more, get rid of advanced R&D, and then also research station needs to be looked at. Those are like the next three things. And this is all hinging, you'll hear this buzzwords of like time to kill. This is like the new thing, time to kill. There's too much time to kill. And I think Josh, in our cast, when we talk about this stuff, he brings it up pretty well, is that like the reason why Research Station works and why it exists is because a team like Malekith, like the fact that Web Warriors might have to play on Research Station makes them inherently not the end-all be-all faction, right? Like, Research Station is doing a job. It's like countering a thing. So if you take it, you're going to exploit it in every bit the same way as you would exploit senators. So it's just the opposite of those two things. And that's kind of also what big guys are doing who shit on 3-point and 4-point models. They are performing kind of a service, or like they're creating a bookend to an ecosystem that is kind of needed for balance, because like if there is no such thing as this time to kill problem, then there's like the time to scenario. Like the game's ending on 3 anyways, right? Like it doesn't, if Web Warriors had it their way, they would they'd fucking shit on you in 3 turns with scenario steals and no interaction, and they'd brag about how little dice they rolled. Like, so is that what we want? Is that just a bunch of that, or do we want Malekith to be chasing those fuckers down and one-shotting Miles Morales in the back corner? So anyways, that's my thought, is before we start wishing away these big guys, we should probably think about what the meta looks like without them. Because I got into the game when Malekith was considered sketch. This was Adepticon. I got into the game after Aaron England took second with Black Order at Adepticon to Sam Spam. And Malekith was considered a meme at this point. And the meta kind of, and I think that meta sucked, personally. So I don't want to go back to whatever that was.
I can tell you, as somebody who was playing competitively at the time, that meta did suck. Like a lot.
Yeah. As a person who wants to play like mid-range X-Men. So this is the thing. When I first started playing, I was having a lot of fun playing like mid-range lists, and they kind of played well into kind of the extremes. And then because the extremes were teching for each other, they were kind of coming within reach of me. And so it was giving me a little bit of space. And so it's like, as long as they exist, there are things you can do kind of in between those two. to have some fun. It's not going to be reliable like winning strategy top tier. But then again, I'm not trying to, I'm not Lance Armstrong of MCP. I'm trying to just enjoy myself and steal wins where possible. But I don't know. I think I think of Guild Ball. Like a lot of these guys from MCP are from Guild Ball, and I think Guild Ball's fine, but like it's not a combat game really. And then when it was at its worst is when Butchers were great. But MCP is a combat game. You should be wanting to engage people. Like it's a fun, it's a skirmish game. So yeah, the idea that you play by turning it into this American Gladiators like sport thing that like you're stealing points and not doing anything, I don't know, it just seems kind of alien and dumb to me. Like it's just sort of like
So I'd like to jump in here.
Sure.
I've said for a bit now that it feels like the meta is being drug in two directions, and so you got the super tall meta and the super wide scoring meta are like, and everything in the middle is like being preyed on by both. And so, like, I don't think either side is particularly healthy for the game. But if you were to, like your example, let's say they nerf all the big guys and they fix them.
Yeah.
Well, that just leaves the other side of the coin. And so the medium list, like the Spider Foes and the Asgard, like, if they're not keeping up with the Web Warriors and the Criminals already, how are they going to continue to do that?
Yeah.
And so, because the boogeyman, the guys that are just going to go through and table them by turn 3, don't exist anymore, well, the meta, like you said, is going to become extremely stagnant because everyone's going to be doing that strategy. Mm-hmm. And I think if you can't touch the big guys without also touching the Steelers, like the Black Cat and the Voodoos of the world are so far and away more powerful, in my opinion, than any of the big guys. Like, Thanos is scary, but, like, they're in for 8 points. Like, They need a powerful model, and I agree that he's probably too much. But for 3 points, there's not a conversation that I can have with somebody where they can convince me Black Cat's not the best 3-pointer in the game. And it's by such a wide margin that I don't even know what we're supposed to be talking about. Like, the level of impact that 3-point model has on the entire meta is absurd. And so I totally agree with you. I think that we need these big guys to combat those effects.
Yeah, just an aside on Black Cat. So I've had this happen with games. The problem too is like a lot of my anecdotal experience is using models that are like buzzwordy bad, but like I will fence Black Cat. She's run off with like 2 cubes into a corner, and Cable will double move port to fence her. But then I know I can't get because she has stealth, I can't get within 3 of her. And so I can't get in range of her, but I can stay just out of 3. I basically want to position myself so that she's fenced into that corner,
and
thinking, she can't move because there's no way she's fast enough to get out of my threat the next turn. She does. She 2 long move ports. She's past him. She just squirts out the corner like fucking Barry Sanders, and she's gone. And I can't double move port throw. I can't even get a throw on her. It's so stupid. It's like, and she's able to do this with objectives. It's crazy. And then heaven forbid she's in Midnight Suns and she double move bumps ports. Holy crap balls. That is insane to me.
So let me. I have one comment. So I was listening to our podcast that we did last week.
Oh, don't do that. That's always a bad idea.
No, it's actually very relevant.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Because it was mentioned, is the game better if we cut off both ends of this? Mm-hmm. Just basically kill everything that's above 6 points. Kill everything that steals. Is the game better?
I don't know about. No, okay. I disagree. I like the idea of trying to make. So it was all fine and good when Dormammu was bad. And then for a long time, it was like everybody knew Thanos was busted, but it's always kind of been like you pay 8 points and like
never.
I don't know.
Well, no,
I think you're
really
incorrect.
The restricted cards. The point cost was never an issue. It was the restricted slots. People thought they couldn't live without Patch Up Embrace.
Yeah.
And it turns out you just can't.
Thanos has always been very, very busted and has had no place in this game.
Yeah.
There is no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
But then, like, they release Malekith, and then Malekith is kind of the answer, but then you just take fallback and escort, and then Malekith is no longer the answer.
Recalibration matrix. Recal is what changes it.
Yeah. Well, I think like literally just the whole boat.
But I mean, honestly, like, so take all those out. You take out the nonsense on one side. You take out the nonsense on the other. There was a world, and me and Brandon and lots of people played in this world, where there wasn't anything of high point cost. There was nothing that stole. The first model that stole shit was Enchantress. And that was crazy. We were like, oh, fuck, she moves up and steals shit. Because it wasn't an action initially. She just did it. And it was like, God damn it. And
I have a fun anecdote here.
So anyway, think on that. Like, it was a world, and it was fine.
So I was editing the Show Me Showdown battle reports, and there's a scene where I was just randomly skipping around looking for the end of the video, and because it always overruns a bit, because I don't get over there and turn it off fast enough. And the game is on the line, final turn of the game, and the player double moves Enchantress up to a model on a point that's holding an objective. So he goes, all right, I'm going to spend 3 to take your objective and 2 to walk you off the point. And then I'll spend 1 to pick it up. I have 6 power. And he's like, your steal costs an action. And he's just like, oh yeah, I forgot my models are bad.
Is that what he says?
And then like they continue. I can't remember what he actually says, but it was something along like, because his opponent is playing Black Cat. And it was just like, it didn't even enter his mind that my 4-point model is less than half as good as your model.
Yep.
And it's just like, yeah, of course, like it's not even comparable. Like these two things, like, and so I understand that like, she was released so quick, so close to the nerf when they hit Enchantress that it didn't make sense to also reprint a card that came out like 2 or 3 weeks prior or something like that. And obviously, her should cost an action. And I think she should also lose the canceling your mods thing. Yeah. Get rid of that. Get rid of or make her thing cost an action. And I think we're back to the realm of like acceptable. She's still really strong. Like, I think she probably needs to lose stealth also to be in the correct area. But, because, like, if you remove the fact that she could steal objectives entirely from her card, she's still in the top 10% of 3-pointers.
She staggers you. Just auto-staggers you.
She has a range 3 auto-stagger. Range 3 auto-stagger for 2. How many people play her just for that?
Nobody else has
like,
that.
Oh, also, she steals objectives. It's like, where do you, like... The only other model we're even considering her next to is Voodoo, which everyone in the freaking world knows is busted.
Yeah.
So
we're talking about Spider-Woman and Miles and Pyro and all these other people that have ways to make you drop objectives. But guess what? You can play mission objective on those people. And so like, oh, I'm going to drop it. There's a counterplay. It's not just you press the F3 button and get my objective. Like there's no counterplay. And I don't like those models. And I especially don't like models that are so far and away the paragons of the game at one specific job that no one will ever be able to compete with them. And it's just like Valkyrie was that originally, and because of that, she got adjusted. And then we look at other models that do this, X-23. No model will ever compete with X-23 for melee damage output as a 3-point slot. Nobody ever will, because you know what? She does the damage of a 4-pointer. And there's not even a question about that. It's like I don't like those models.
Okay, I mean, X-23 I've got arguments with, but whatever. Obviously, I'm an X-Men player, but I've gotten equal value out of Zemo as a, I don't know who in the 3-point slot competes with Zemo and her, but like I do.
Zemo is also quite good.
Yeah,
but again, like Zemo doesn't get 3 attacks ever.
He doesn't get 3 attacks ever. Like
she doesn't have healing factor.
She has gambler's fallacy power. Zemo has I fuck you no matter who you are power. Like his rerolls on his 6 dice with another reroll on top of that. And then
he's really consistent attack dice.
It's gross.
But it costs a bunch of power.
It does. I mean, 2 and 2, right? It's 4 power.
Yeah, but you got to get there first, and so generally it's costing the charge.
Yeah.
I think also the good news is back to the original, the 2 cards that they took out of the game essentially or nerfed. One of them is the classic. You go with a model, and then you go with another model back to back. They've been eliminating that since day one. Every time someone could do that, they got rid of it.
The double up.
Yeah, the double, like go again. They don't like that. As game developers, every time someone finds that, they kill it. So that doesn't mean anything other than they don't like that happening. They got rid of it. So, and I mean, the fact that they've left Thanos alone for the most part, like they didn't even do like a strong nerf on him. They haven't gotten rid of some of the other things that people have like classically said, gosh, this is really dumb. I don't think there's going to be any sort of like, I don't see anything to worry too much about. I think the big guys are here to stay, unfortunately, because I feel the other way. Like I think some of this stuff needs to be kicked in the nuts. But
before we start getting on like wish listing nerfs, but because I think we're trying to go in the opposite direction here.
Yeah.
I do feel like I feel like we're expecting something to happen about all the turn 1 stuff. And I wouldn't be surprised if they transition to a no tactics cards on the first turn kind of policy.
That's been my big.
Yeah.
This is so I'm just gonna say, and I'm not trying to start a beef locker. I think Vodka Blitz is an awesome player. He's a super nice guy and a smart person. But he said, in respect to us saying that on Muse, his counter was, if you take that, it makes X-Men irrelevant. If you take and I'm like, if you take X-Men First Class off the board turn 1, they can't be competitive with. And I'm like, if that's true,
then it needs to be fixed.
Then it needs to be fixed. Exactly. Yeah. That's the same thing with Deception or any card. If anybody is saying, as a defense of it existing, that without it they can't play, then they are 100% confirming it needs to be fixed, and maybe a wider problem needs to be fixed. That's the troubling part, is that like they'll say it, and then it's like the elephant in the fucking room, and they're the ones who introduced it. It's like crazy to me.
And there could be like exceptions, like there could be a card, like they could have read the card say this card may be played during the first power phase, or even if it has the exception of like play during your first power phase, it itself is an exception.
Yep.
And there's stuff like that you could do like that, like advanced R&D. I don't think they want people playing it on the first turn. I don't think they want Spirit of Wakanda script plans running on flowcharts around the meta. I don't think they want that.
If you say no TTCs on turn 1, it solves R&D, and it doesn't even hurt Web Warriors as hard as people think it would. Because Web Warriors can activate first or second on turn 2, still do it, and still have rescue live or whatever. Like, whatever the fuck they think they need it for, so bad on turn 1, it's basically okay. I don't know.
I think a lot of the stuff becomes just as live as they want it to be, but they have to put themselves at risk to make it live. Just like every other goddamn list. Like, not everything is free. Like, stop acting like everything has to be fucking free. Like, that's the thing that kills me about this game right now. I want to be able to have a safe thing. Everything's got to be safe. First turn has to be safe. You cannot touch me. I'm going to steal everything and be safe. That's not the intent, motherfuckers. Like,
well, now that Deception's gone, it's less painful.
Yeah, it is.
Right? Like, it wouldn't feel as bad if they're spending a heavy amount of their resources to get access to this card.
Yeah, first off, now Deception's not gone.
It's not gone. People are still going to play it.
Maybe but Brace for Impact is gone. That's like a best case scenario.
Yeah. No, but I think actually Patch-Up's gone is what it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I was saying, now that they're spending an amount of their resources, it doesn't feel free, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it just feels like nowadays you plan on spending 4 of your tactics cards by the first turn, and it's just like, and by turn I mean round. Yeah, I don't think that's fun. Like, it feels like we're devolving into our list do X, and then our opponent's list do Y, and then based on the missions we draw, that will determine who wins the game. And I'm just like, that's not fun. Like, you're not making new decisions every turn. You're just playing the script, and like, that's boring.
Yeah. We've talked about that.
And I don't think the game is that. I think the meta is that. Like, if you put 2 people in a room and didn't give them access to the internet, I don't think that would be an issue. It's only because people have this opinion that these lists are really, really strong, and they're just copying what they're finding when they see success.
Yeah.
I'm not saying those lists aren't good. They are very good. But I think this is people think the meta is solved, therefore they don't try to innovate.
Yeah.
And instead of trying to innovate or overcome, they just they just join the people that are performing these actions and then wait for the devs to fix it.
That is like the innovation thing too. Is like, I don't know why this is, but there's like a lot of like pressure I think on people who are good enough to innovate aren't doing it because they're pressure, like they're kind of like too chicken shit to like get off the things that work. And it's a bizarre situation because so Adepticon is an interesting one. I play a lot of pickup games and I'm just playing like wacky fucking cable shit, right? And I'm getting like shit on by alpha fuck
passerbys.
Yeah, I'm getting like shit on by like alpha fuck web warriors and alpha fuck X-Men players or whatever, and they're just doing like the stupid shit. Like that's cool, but what did you win? Like what did you?
Yeah,
it's interesting. Like
bro, we flipped Mutant Madman, and I made more pay to flips than he did.
Yeah,
like dude, what the fuck is happening?
He's playing an inefficient fucking power team that can't do it. Awesome, like and he played a team that has to walk into rakes because they don't have a lot of plays effects and like
and then like on the flip side, if you just flip demons, all of a sudden his list falls apart, and you're just like, okay, like, what are we doing here?
1,000,000%.
Congrats,
yeah,
you put your entire strategy into the priority role. Good job.
But it's what's the proof? So where I'm at is like, I'm trying to play stuff that's fun and interesting, and it's not innovative. I mean, 100% not an innovator, but like, I think that the players that are like taking it upon themselves to like, they could be better. Like, I think they're just people who have bigger brains that could be innovating way harder, and they're just not because I have reasons. I don't know. Like, it's just, I don't know.
I agree with that. I was actually really shocked at Show Me. It was pretty funny. I was looking at this one guy's reds and blues extracts and his missions or whatever, and I was looking and I was like, it was the weirdest smattering of shit I've seen. And I was like, man, you got like a odd smattering of things. He goes, I'm playing Avengers. I can kind of do anything. And I was like, congratulations. Like, I'm like, you figured it out, bro. Like, I mean, seriously, I wanted to high five.
This guy forgot to charge his headphones. He doesn't know what the meta's
exactly.
doing.
Like, and he was absolutely right. He can do anything. And I was like, that's fucking adorable.
And that's really the funny thing. Like, people pretend the meta is like this thing, but it's just like the group thing.
Yeah,
meta. It's not the actual meta. Like, we go to a qualifier, we have 25 people show up, and it's like, look around, it's like, there's 3 people playing meta lists here. Everyone, and there's a bunch of competitive players. Nobody's like just like hardcore in on one strat. Like, it's not really this. It's just like the perception. Like, because people see the same people like placing at events and stuff. And sure, these lists are more popular, but it's like, you go to other games and it's like, or even different points in the MCP meta. Like, there was a time when Thanos was in like 60% of rosters. Like, this is not the worst the meta has ever been.
No, it is not.
People forget, Like, what was the really bad one? I'm drawing a blank. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Thanos 3-character meta was the worst the game had ever seen. Because you could play like X-Men and then just throw in your last 3 characters as Black Order. And it was a completely so if you won priority, you chose reds. If you lost priority, your opponent would have to choose reds so that you couldn't get your reds, which would allow you to play X-Men on your blues, which was a fucking nightmare. Like, that was like the dumbest list ever to play against, because it cost them nothing. And Corvus and Proxima are actually good in X-Men, so it's actually a good synergy on top of the fact that it's like complete cancer.
Yeah, so like in our episode that's not out yet,
it'll be out pretty soon after this comes out.
That's true. Actually, this episode will come out before ours. But in this, we basically get into this discussion about meta toxicity, and I'm like, basically, if you kill the big guys, then the only thing you're left with is like Web Warriors, Wakanda, and X-Men type garbage, and now Hellfire, and it's going to be miserable. So, and then Josh basically is objecting to this because he thinks that he basically shits on all that with Midnight Suns, and I don't know if I challenged him to like, he's like, I play X-Men all the time and I never have that big of a deal. And I'm like, do you play against Vodka Blitz, or are you on TTS, or it's so hard to not pull the trigger on that like talk. and that is also toxic. It's like cancerous, but you can't help but do it. It's like a war machine thing of like, you're saying you beat Legion, but have you ever played JVM? If you haven't, then shut the fuck up. So like, but I guess
you can play against the same affiliation running similar models, and it's a different experience.
Yeah,
it's all about the way you approach the game and what missions you're playing, and like how you utilize your resources. It's not always the same. Like for example, you play against a Hydra player, and then play against a second Hydra player playing a lot of the same models. It's a completely different experience.
Yeah,
that's one of the best things about the game is this replayability.
Yeah,
but yeah, I do not want to play every game is a fucking funny card drag race scenario game. I do not want to play that.
Yeah.
Like it would be fun for a week and then it would get tedious and annoying.
Yeah.
And I mean, just as an example of that scenario, I mean, the league that I'm running is that, right? Like we've cut off the heads of all the big guys. There isn't any model above five threat, and
except for 5-point Malekith.
5-point Malekith is fine.
Cable.
Oh, Cable's legal.
Yeah,
Cable is legal.
He's like the 5-pointers of Malekith.
Yes. But I can tell you, like, every game feels just fine. Like, the only difference in this league than playing a normal game is if
you don't take Helios.
There's no Helios, and there's not a fucking kaiju that you accidentally didn't kill and goes ape shit on you. And you cannot kill it because your model that was supposed to kill it got fucking taken off the board. Because sometimes that happens in a regular game. This game, it's like any model can kind of handle any model, kind of, sort of. You're kind of okay.
And in a limited setting, I think this league's really good. But if we were like to play it over a long period, like all the competitive people would drift towards the same like 2 affiliations, and that's all we would ever see, and it would get boring. But because it's a limited run and it's at a local level, I think it's great. Because we don't run like people. I'm not going to go play like the thing that I'm worried about. I'm going to play what I actually want to play, and everyone's approaching it from that. We're just experiencing a new meta together, which is
they're getting to throw models in that they haven't maybe played before, instead of being like, well, Hulk doesn't work very good with this guy, so I'm not. No, just throw some shit in there and play it.
But think about like, never mind what the big guys tee off on. Think about what they pay off in terms of your counterplay. Like, one of the things I kind of low key don't understand. I haven't wrapped my head around it entirely yet, but like, I like to run a lot of debuffs, and in this game, debuffs are kind of like almost pointless in a lot of cases. Big guys pay those off if you incinerate them, brute them, slow them, stun them.
Adds up.
What's that?
It adds up a lot. Like
it adds up. Yeah,
I experienced that a lot with Thanos lately. It's like, well, you'll never daze my Thanos. I'm like, oh, but then I have to deal with these 5 fucking negative effects every turn.
Exactly.
Like fucking staggered, bleeding, slowed, rooted, and like incinerated. I'm like, well, this is annoying.
Yeah, and that's why, like, as an X-Force player, I don't hate those. They still beat me, but I don't hate them because I get a lot of effects on them that like they don't enjoy. It makes the game interesting. In like. Especially like again, once they like when you're not doing it and they smash you, you learn real quick. Like, oh, I'm going to access like a little deeper in my banks to play my counters. But if they don't exist, and then it's like the root models go away because they're not as relevant, or the incinerate models go away because they're not as relevant. Like
it took 2 years for root to matter in this game.
Yeah,
I don't think it did. I just think people didn't. It wasn't necessary, right? I think it didn't matter.
Like, it wasn't necessary, and then all of a sudden, it was like, holy shit. Because we knew the whole time, we're like, that's got to be good on something.
But do you remember how many times you played against Loki and you forgot, and you were like, oh, I can't charge.
It's horrible.
And it was just like someone just straight kicked you in the nuts.
Oh, yeah.
It was so punishing.
Loki's always horrible.
And it's like that's all it was, is Loki just roots everyone within 4. And like when you experience it, you're like, wow, this is really punishing. And you're like, yeah, but just I don't know why nobody really reached for it. It was probably just because we didn't have Pyro yet. Like if Pyro was out earlier, I think it would have caught on.
Oh, yeah, we had only Sinister
person who really
and
did
Groot.
It was Groot. Yeah.
Sinister and Groot. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Talk about a model that doesn't get his due, Sinister.
Yeah. We've talked a lot about Sinister. Yeah, I like. He's an interesting dude. He's really underrated.
Mm-hmm.
Root and Playthings. Are you kidding me? Pretty good. I think there's.
I was actually gonna try and put together a death and taxes list that was just unaffiliated and just all the most annoying taxation models you can imagine. So it's like Loki, Groot, Strucker, and like Scarlet Witch, Ronan, and just like basically your whole list is poisoned, your whole list is stunned, and then you're like once a model gets judged, just like everyone kills that guy, and then it's like your whole list has 0 power the entire game, and you're just like, God, this is annoying.
What if I sold you on the concept of that in Hellfire with like Cassandra Nova, like Cassandra Nova and Sinister within Hellfire Club? Oof. That might actually be sweet.
Yeah.
And Loki, just for shits.
Yeah.
That's 12 plus 5, 17 points. Or 16.
If I'm playing Cassandra Nova, I'm probably going to be playing Sentinels, I'm going to be honest.
I mean, you can be honest if you want, but like...
It'll be Cassandra Nova.
Cassandra Nova's great.
Cassandra Nova, Sentinel, and Emma.
2 Sentinels.
It'll still be Hellfire.
2 Sentinels.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Hellfire.
Yeah. Yeah, Cassandra Nova's another one. Much like she's just...
I think Cassandra Nova's starting to get her due. People have started playing against her and going, what the fuck is this model? Like, it's so annoying.
When I played Sentinel, she became like my all-star, like almost immediately. It was like, oh my god, the stealth, advanced healing, tricks and traps, just all of it. But then, and the control and the stupid one-cost auto walk. Like the one-cost
the auto walk is really like it's like, what are you supposed to do? It's like nothing. Like you can't. We got to the end of a game, and Aaron was down to 1 model, and I had 2 models, and he just had Cassandra Nova. I had Apex Predator, Sabretooth, and another model. I'm like, I can't win. Yeah. It's literally impossible.
He just kept walking.
And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, watch this. Like I said, I stood at the board, stared at the board for like 15 minutes. I was like, all right. I leap into Cassandra Nova and die to the counterattack. I'm like, cool, that sounds fun. I guess this is how we fucking play this game nowadays. Because it's like, if I walk up and try and hit her and I die first, it's completely pointless. At least I get the collision out of this. Yeah. And he had to spend the power, which ended up letting my other model kill him because he ran out of power eventually. But yeah, like Magneto walks up to Cassandra Nova and she's like, cool, bye. You're like, oh god.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a cool model. And then Mental Domination is fuck busted stupid. It's like such a bonkers card.
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely like to see the Steelers get addressed long before we see the big guys get addressed. And I think Thanos is a problem, but he's an outlier, like a noticeable outlier. But like the way there are counters to him, right? Like if you're willing to commit a couple slots in your roster, you can have a solid game into Thanos, and it's not really that hard.
If Thanos was a problem, why do you only see him in Guardians?
Because it's just the best place for him. I think you'll start seeing him more in Wakanda now. Because I think Wakanda is the other really good spot for him.
Oh.
But, yeah, it's just because not many lists can live without restricted cards. And not many lists can easily get affiliated. And I didn't think this was true until I tried to play Guardians with Thanos. The list is very restrictive. Like, it doesn't seem like it from the outside. But you basically have to have a character for every point total to make that list work, because there is no flexibility at all. You have to have so many affiliated characters to make the list work. Yeah. It's crazy. And because you're so bought in on Guardians, and part of it is because like Rocket and Groot are really 2 models that are a 5-pointer, and so you're just like Star-Lord, Rocket, Groot, Gamora, Nebula, because you would need a second 2-pointer. And then it's like, okay, so now what? You're 6 models in, you have no restricted slots. What do you add now when you need a 3-pointer? That's not just a solo group. You're like, well, I guess I add Drax because it has to be affiliated. You're like, well, now I'm playing fucking Drax in a competitive tournament list, which sounds bad, but is actually kind of okay because Drax synergizes well with Thanos. But it's just like, it just gets really weird really fast. And so, yeah, the list is less flexible than people think it is, but it is very good.
He also plays really good with X-Men. He plays really good with Brotherhood. He plays really good with Criminals. The problem is there's groupthink on this shit, and nobody, and none of the other podcasts.
People only want to play.
They want to play the
best.
Once
they sell out, they only want to play the best thing. Once they don't play their favorite affiliation, they want to play the best
until
thing.
X-23 and X-Men
turns into that.
Hit you when she's been injured with 10 dice. You just want to fucking quit the game. Like, when Thanos puts that on you, like, it makes you want to kill yourself. It's horrible.
I would ask you where Thanos touched you, but you just hold up a doll covered in red paint.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Like, yep, that's where. Those places.
All the places. Yeah, I actually like him in X-Men quite a bit. That place is really stupid.
I do like him in X-Men as well. But I think Wakanda is underrated. There's a guy, I want to say his name's Ben Thompson. He plays Wakanda Thanos like almost exclusively, it seems like. And I think that list is very good.
Throwing extra dice with rerolls on Black Panther seems really fucking good.
Yeah. No, right. So you get like the 9-die Black Panther builders on his backside, which is fucking crazy with full rerolls. He also is fast. They're all durable. You can play Vibranium Shielding. He gets DR2 with Reality Stone, which is fucking dumb. He also can leadership reroll his defense dice. And so he actually gets about the same number of mods. And because you have Shuri and Black Panther, you actually don't even take Space Stone. You take you take Mind Stones. You actually keep a restricted slot. So you get Patch Up on top of it. So you're like double DR with Patch Up is insane. So there's a lot of good things about it.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's...
Thanos is a one that I don't have a ton of experience into. I was always worried about him, but I think I'm like 3-0 versus him.
Yeah. It was funny. Aaron had never played against him, and I brought him to his house one day, jacking around, and I feel like I introduced them to the power and just kind of unlocked the seal of that shit. He wanders about the Kansas City area, random events and stuff, and people play him occasionally, but there for a minute. There was like 4 people at the local tournament, and like 4 people showed up at game night recently. I'm just like, okay, that's it, motherfuckers. That's it. Because there for a bit I played him, and I'm like, this is way too stupid. I'm not playing this anymore. Like, this is just stupid. It's not.
Yeah.
This is not why I came here to play this. Like, this is just dumb.
Well, I'm not that experienced into him, but like at the team tournament, I played Perrin, and he was playing X-Men Thanos. Yeah. I played fucking Hellfire. Was it Hellfire Club or X-Men?
Yeah.
But it was like with Hulkbuster. That was my counter tech, and it worked.
Nice.
It was fine.
That's good.
I threw myself to the wolves. I was like, I'm just gonna lose this game, and then it actually just was like fine.
Worked out.
I'm sure in a neutral field in Idaho, he destroys me like 7 out of 10 games or something. But like the fact that you can have a chip and share, I don't know. I mean, if you think about what Hulkbuster and those two are doing in concert against each other, like they're actually very similar models in some ways. Like because he just auto pushes on his 2 builders.
Yes, and you throw good damage at him. Throwing 6 dice is good, and auto pushing is good. And the fact that you can hit and run, so you get to put yourself where you need to be on a huge base. So you kind of like escape. He can't really place you. You don't have a ton of models, so I'm guessing you probably played a scenario of like an E or something. You probably only had like 6 points available or something dumb like that.
It was like a D map. It was a D map with some. There was some stuff going on. I think it was it was like a D map with 4 extracts. I don't know, maybe 3 extracts. I don't know. It was like but he's playing X-Men and.
D is weird. I don't know why he took a Thanos on a D. That's kind of suspect.
Yeah.
But whatever.
I mean, and for me, that's just the thing. Is like, it was an interesting game, but thinking about it is like Thanos is like different than Malekith is like you're solved for, but he's doing things that people hate more than Malekith in a lot of ways. Like people just fucking hate. I fucking hate displacement. I hate it.
Oh, absolutely. It's horrible. Like. Of the minimum amount of things you want out of your models is them to be where you put them. Like, of minimum. Like, I put you there, so you exist. Nope. Like, that is just so disheartening.
It's such a key component of my core being in the game. I just want to play my teammates with abilities that stack on each other or do things and help each other out. Yeah. And it's like, I don't care that I'm being pushed off points. I fucking care that I'm out of bodyguard range. I care that I'm out of Baron Mordo buff range. I care that I'm out of, that shit tilts me way more than actually just losing the game on scenario.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, he does all of it. So no longer are you
he does
bodyguard, you're also off the point, and now you're
Yeah.
also in range of the model, so he can fucking punch you in the head.
And Honey Badger's no longer debuffing anybody, and like all the things you work
Yeah.
to do don't exist. And then also,
It's bad. So what is your new model of hotness right now? Like, what is this new? Do you have anything new you've been fucking with lately? Anything new fun?
Well, wait. Can I guess what he's playing? Because I think I figured it out.
Okay.
Oh.
Leaderless Hellfire Club is his new jam.
Oh god.
No, I mean, honestly, I've just been playing the X-Men with Storm, and so Storm has been the kind of revelation for me, is playing her in a way that's not. So here's the thing with Storm that I got hung up on right away. It was like, in addition to X-Men First Class, you have the Storm Hop enabling your turn 1 dickhead steal or whatever.
Yeah. That's all people can focus on. They can't like see the forest through the trees.
Well, welcome.
And so I've been
welcome to the 90s.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been really enjoying how much the her kit really, like, like in a lot of ways you can kind of see how X-Men were designed to work with her, and then how much their new releases then broke her. Like, Wolverine is a fine model at 7.5. People are like, oh, he's too not survivable on his backside. Well, with cover, that's not quite the case. Mm-hmm. And also, getting 7 out on the front side is really rough with cover.
No, it actually is. That people don't realize that. Like, it's so hard to fucking daze that idiot. Because you get punished so hard for failing. And I get that, you're going to have games where he gets spiked and gets 2 hit. And it's like, sure, absolutely 100% that's going to happen. And if it happens your first 2 games, I can see you having a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah.
But, like, do you know how many fucking times I'd be like, just put 8 dice into him, he takes, like, 1 damage. You're like, cool, I guess your turn. Oh, cool, you healed it. And you're bleeding, you don't even care. Great.
Yeah. Yeah, and then with Colossus and Honey Badger in your list, that it just, there's a lot of things going on with Storm that you can have fun with. So that's, for me, that's like been the.
So what I'm hearing is you enjoy having 2 leaderships.
Yeah,
because Storm. I mean, Storm comes with her free 2 leaderships option.
Exactly.
That's pretty nice.
That's not what I heard. What I heard is, after the 2 years you spent playing this game, in about the last week, you've played Storm and realized she's better than Cyclops.
Yeah, she's not better than Cyclops, but she's
objectively better than Cyclops. So I don't know that we've acknowledged this on the podcast, but there's some rumors floating around right now. Are you excited about said rumors? Have you heard said rumors?
As far as like if it pertains to mini Stravaganza, that everybody's getting the relooks and Colossus and Cyclops and Cable and blah blah blah, like it could be Christmas for Nigel. Yeah, whatever. I'm not gonna subscribe.
I expect the reverse. Is they're gonna dumpster Storm, and then Cyclops will probably get the treatment you've been hoping for forever, which is a leadership that actually has a function within the game.
Yeah, I don't know. My opinion on X-Men are very complicated because I do think there's something wrong with them that's under curve, but inherently they were on the right track. Like, Cyclops is actually pretty fucking good model. The only thing that tells me about Cyclops is his push is size 2.
Yeah.
Like, what in the actual fuck? Like, when
clearly that's the problem. Nothing else about him has any issues.
If you think about his stats, he's kind of a stat beast. He's actually hard to kill. He's got he's like a 4. Is he a 4-4-3 or a 4-3-3? I think he might be a 4-4-3 with his quick draw ability. So he blanks you. You take 2 damage if you're attacking him from outside of 2. He's got field leader and all this stuff.
We don't need to read Cyclops' card.
Yeah. But like he's he straight up shits on models in weird spots. Like, I've had him just dumpster Voodoo. Like, people who you're just like, that doesn't make sense. And like,
that really doesn't make sense because Voodoo rolls more dice than you do.
And
so any model can have success in any spot like that. Yeah. The dice allow for that. Like, that's not a problem. The issue that a lot of people have with Cyclops and Storm is that the cheaper model has by far the better leadership, and that's really frustrating for a lot of people. Yeah. And arguably, Storm is a better 3-pointer than Scott is a 4-pointer. Like, so not only are you already like not getting the full efficiency of that extra point you spend, but on top of that, you're getting the worst of the two leaderships, and it's not even remotely close. A lot of people aren't fans of that, and so that's obviously why he's much malaised.
And his leadership too, it's like I don't even compare them. Like they're written in such different concepts. Storm's makes sense, but I do think that the Storm Hop should be essentially functionally Death's Decree, and that's it. It should be a free Death's Decree. It's based on Storm. You just can't have models all over the goddamn table flipping all over the place. Like that has nothing to do with Storm. It should be like a functionally a free, or sorry, not Death's Decree, but Royal Decree.
Okay.
So
is that the same thing basically?
The problem with Royal Decree is it's based on her. Like she can either
right. It has to be specifically her,
incorporating her in some way. You have to be within 2 of her to flip over her, or she's within 2 and she flips.
Yeah.
But like blah blah blah. So
the fact that you can do it to Daze models is like the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah, that is so stupid, and that's so also dumb. Just it causes so much rules confusion. Like there's this keyword bingo that happens.
Thanks rules forum.
Yeah. It's miserable because, like, again, it's also with Blade counting dazed models who have the bleed effect on them, and it's like confusing because there's so many times when dazed models, it's inconsistent whether the dazed model is on the table or not or whatever. But hopefully that's what Mini Stravaganza. I would rather Mini Stravaganza clean up some of that nonsensical stuff, but with Cyclops too, he's got Field Leader, but it's just his cost 3.
Like I kind of just wish Field Leader was his leadership.
Yeah,
like
100%.
Just move that up, give him something else, and be done with it.
Yeah, I've 100% had that win me a game. Is just him spending 3 to do that. It's a good ability. It's cool. Boy, is it miserable that it costs 3. I don't know.
Doesn't have a range on it. It's like range 3 or something stupid.
It's range 4.
Oh, it is range 4.
It's a good range. Yeah.
It's a really good ability. Like it's the best thing about him. Not even close, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, cool. Do you guys have anything else you want to cover before we wrap it up?
Whoa,
we're gonna post ramble still.
Post ramble, oh yeah.
This is just the official episode.
Nah, that's true. I guess we can't talk forever. I guess we can.
Yeah.
Excited about the game. Innovate. Keep the big guys in. The big guys are doing us a favor.
Yeah,
even though they're miserable.
We covered this a bit with Researcher. We had a recent topic if Researcher was good or bad for the game, and I think I am definitely of the opinion it's good for the game, because if every mission just ends up being spider infected and senators like this game, it turns into something I'm not very fond of.
Yeah,
I think the whole point of it being that you have to prepare for everything is great, but I'm worried that the meta right now, they're kind of just selling out and saying, well, I hope I win the missions, and you're like, yeah, but don't you want to try to do something on that mission? You're like, no, I'm just going to eat it in the face. I'm like, all right, cool.
And you never know what the monkey paw, what the finger on the monkey paw is going to cause. Like, if you get rid of it, if you get rid of research, it's just again, the most miserable experience I think I've ever wanted to flip the table on is voodoo on intrusions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. I was pretty upset.
Yeah, so voodoo on intrusions is research stations no, keep it in. Just keep it in. I don't want it to fall to more voodoo on intrusions. I feel like people trying to exploit that is going to keep. I don't know.
Yeah, the dumbest thing I've ever seen happen in a game is voodoo walks up to a middle point that you're contesting on intrusions, possesses you, and goes through the portal, and you can't follow him. And it's just I literally wanted to put my head in the microwave.
Yeah,
who
100%
wrote this rule? And then you daze him, right? On the other side of the table, and his fucking superpower is still fucking you on the other side of the table.
Yep.
Isn't there literally a rule in the rulebook that prevents this from happening? Yep, but the forums disagree, so whatever.
Yeah.
He can't follow you through. I never thought about that.
You never have encountered that? No. It's the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah, voodoo on intrusions
is so stupid.
If you want to have a bad time playing MCP, by all means. Oh my god. That exists. And also that if you ever want to complain about big guys, that exists. If you want to deal with a big guy, fucking possess it takes however many power, but do that, possess him, and then walk over, you portal away, and he's just lols.
Oh my god.
See you, idiot.
Yeah, see you, idiot. You're not going to score the rest of the game, and you're never going to catch me.
Me and Jeremy played one game of Thanos versus Voodoo, and he got 10 power on Voodoo, and I was literally terrified. I'm like, he's gonna possess me, and I'm gonna lose this game so hard. Luckily, we were able to avoid that. All right, cool. Well, thanks everybody for listening. Hopefully you had a good time. Infamous is great. Muse sucks. Goodbye.
Yep.
This has been Brandon.
Jeremy.
And Nigel.
And you've just listened to The Gang Reignites the Rivalry.
It's on.
So what are we going to call this thing?
I got it. Okay. Incredible, new, fantastic, astonishing, mighty, original, uncanny, sensational podcast.
I'm just going to put down Infamous. We did it!
God damn.
Nigel
barely
successfully downloaded an internet program.
I missed the middle one, but that was because I was the
That's why we do it 3 times.
Jesus Christ.
Don't watch me because it will not be synced.
Yeah, I wasn't synced.
You got to do it off the sound.
Do we need to start again?
No, we're good. I got the two. I got
good.
the first and third one. Whatever.
I don't know.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
All right. Well, now that we're recording, I can just start off with this. Jeremy, did you know that? Did you hear that Brandon's girlfriend's a communist?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it turns out he missed all the red flags.
I like that one.
Are we just doing this?
I didn't know he was going to come loaded for bear. That's
just doing that for an hour and a half? Because
whoa. When have we ever released an hour and a half episode? 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Look, you said you had a list of dad jokes, and it reminded me that I had one.
That's just the one, or you got a list?
Hopefully you're spent.
No, just was one. That... I might be spent. There might be a one or two in the
a smoking shell casing now, just laying there. Whew! I'm glad that's over with.
Yeah.
Jeremy, I just need to confirm you don't have any handguns in the room, because what we're about to do to you might be considered murder if you have a weapon nearby.
I no comment. I'm just here for your amusement. I'm just your plaything.
Mm-hmm.
Or something. Jesus Christ.
Cool.
Have you seen the Barbie movie? Because apparently that's the most important fucking thing in the whole entire fucking world, according to Facebook and everything.
Plan on seeing it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I'm not against seeing it. I'm pretty sure Ryan Gosling's hilarious, and I doubt that the movie's like that bad.
I'm sure it's a fine movie. It's just not something I'm really interested in seeing. I specifically am not interested in paying money for it.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
I do want to go see Oppenheimer, though.
Dude. I don't have anybody to go see it with. You're going to have to go see it with me.
Oh, I'm going. I was supposed to go with Connor this weekend. Are you free this weekend?
No, I'm going to Springfield. I just got a date.
We were actually going to go on Sunday.
I have to work on Sunday. Also, I don't think my 11-year-olds would like that movie.
Why not? I didn't invite your kids. I only invited you. Did you just assume I was inviting your kids?
Well, sorry. Oops. My bad. This is uncomfortable.
I like how we did a similar thing with Parker the other day. I was like, Jeremy and Aaron, are you guys available to do a podcast this weekend? And they're like, maybe. Let me check the schedule. And Parker's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm like, yeah, I didn't. This is awkward. It's like, there's a reason I didn't say your name, Parker. And he's like, oh. All right, then. I was just like, yep, so just let me know, guys. And they just, walked away.
The little guy is not getting it.
Let's have everyone leave. No, you two can stay.
You can stay. You can stay.
You two, you guy by door, you can stay there, too.
Speaking of Austin Powers and lasers, how's your laser thing going, Nigel? Did you get that thing going?
No, not really. The business is in all kinds of nightmare.
Is it
situation.
Still a mess?
Yeah, it's still just a total hot mess. I don't know. All my partners are kind of avoiding me, and I got landlords chasing me around. And
oh Lord,
yeah, it's a disaster.
Just hearing your struggles about the laser, I was just wondering if you had got that.
Yeah, no, the laser is fine. It's the printer that's really fucked. And the printer I've coaxed over the weekend. I just keep like there's not like anything I can do. So then I'll just like fudge with it every day. And I got it like working to where I can like run mats again. So I'm just running mats. We're basically going to downsize and relocate. And I have a bunch of mouse pad inventory, so I'm just going to run it furiously for the next month, like the next 6 weeks, just so that I have it. And then, because I've got like 300 plus mats that I didn't want to be like just stuck with white neoprene that I can't get rid of.
100% makes sense.
Yeah.
I think our most popular question on YouTube is how do I get those mats, and I always send them to you.
Yeah, we sell a lot of mats, so it's probably our best seller. Our best selling item, even still, like it's like the big crazy days have slowed down a bit, but it still kind of carries.
I've always wondered about so when you print giant things in color, I know when I had my color printer working, because they're always out of ink, right? Like if you have a home color printer, you might as well just immediately throw all your ink away because you get like 2 solid days and it's over with.
Yeah.
Like if I accidentally printed something with color, I'm like, oh shit. How does that work with something that's like 4 foot by
Do you know why it's like that, Jeremy? Because they come with like this little sample ink cartridge that's not like a full one. You have to go buy a full one, which is like
shit. I understand how that works.
No, even the full ones, the amount of impressions that like a color cartridge goes with on a desktop printer is like so bad.
It's not much. So how does that work in like commercial field? Like
I'd say pretty good, especially color. White, so white you have to print like really thick to get the opacity, so you blow through a cartridge like very fast. Like every month we go through maybe one of each color in like a month's worth of production, but actually maybe it's even less than that. But like white will go through 4 cartridges, and they're $180 each. Like that's how much a cartridge costs. So we go through between 1,500 and like 3,000 in ink a month, depending on like volume and stuff.
I'm pretty sure that's how much it is for my like Lexmark or whatever the fuck it is upstairs.
Yeah, the little.
I mean, like it's not that much cheaper. I gotta be honest. I'm like just printing family photos for people.
By volume, the little guys in the printer are way more expensive than my ink. So my ink's expensive, but it's like each one is like
a liter.
Yeah. Each cartridge is huge. It's like 500 milliliters or something. Whereas those little guys are like 5 milliliters or something. They're like tiny itty bitty cartridges.
Yeah.
And they cost, it's like $125 or $80 for their little 4-pack of color.
That's cool.
Yeah, because we have to because I'm like a business, and everybody thinks that if you're a business, you're basically Walmart. Like there's no in between. There's no like guy in the garage, home business scraping by like paycheck to checking it. It's like if you have a warehouse and a website, you're literally Walmart. So they just come over and print their D&D sheets and shit on my fucking printer. So it's like I'm just like always fucking out of ink, and it's one of the more expensive fucking hits in the balls.
Can I send you my D&D character sheet and have you print it on neoprene for me?
Yeah, you could actually. That'd probably be cheaper than them running it on their fucking 80-pound cardstock.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, it fucking murders me. I mean, I've had people like take toilet paper home. It's like, dude, I'm literally not Target. Like, holy crap.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Did you guys just do the podcast for Muse, or?
Yeah, we did it. We did it yesterday because of this bicycle. I was talking to Jeremy before we started recording. Today is this thing called Ragbri. I was asking him if it went through Kansas City. I don't know if have you ever heard of it, but it's basically a bicycle marathon. It goes from Minneapolis through Des Moines. I don't know where they fucking wind up, but it makes the city insufferable because they close off streets and nobody can get anywhere for a couple days.
So it starts. Where does it start?
Minneapolis, I believe.
And it manages to weasel its way through your neighborhood.
Yeah, which is like a 3.5-hour drive. So that's like a multi-day bicycle ride, I'd imagine.
And it's called Ragnarok. What is it?
It's called Ragbri. It's like RAGBRAI.
It's got to stand for something, right? What is that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Ridiculous ass goofballs driving.
It's 400 degrees out in Missouri right now, so I don't know what it is where you're at. There is nobody. There is no one on a bike right now in our area.
It is hot as shit right now.
Well, the thing too is like with Ragbri, so I had to drive all over my town to get to work, and it's like the herd of cycles, right? It's just a solid wall of humanity like flowing down. It's like a river of humanity on wheels going through this like street. But because it's so goddamn hot, there's like, everybody gets up in their little like Lance Armstrong outfits and their little helmets, and then they get up there and they pretend like they're a pro like marathon. Like I'm in the Tour de France. And but then it's like National Geographic, like there's like the fat people who maybe were like, it's fucking hot, and they start straying from the herd. They're like weak and they like fall away from the herd and they're getting ready to like get picked off by hyenas. So I'm like driving through all these like side streets, and there'd be like a fat person who's like huffing it and like just kind of going like, oh, I can drive slow if I'm just by myself. Like they're just kind of taking the back roads, maybe a shortcut. Like,
Some of them are like jumping in Ubers to get through.
Exactly. But yeah, and it was always like fatties who shouldn't have been out in the first place. It was like all the Lance Armstrongs are in the herd.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wondered about that. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'm just one set of like good spandex shorts from being able to enjoy a bike, because I don't. Like, I'm just like, my ass and that bike is just not. It just doesn't work out.
Yeah. There was a time when, like Andy from Crippled System, he just got a new job, and he's like a couple miles from his house. I'm like, oh, you could bike to that. And he was like, oh, no, it's way too far. It's like 2 miles. And I was like, what? And then I thought about it, like, actually, that probably, like, and I wasn't using it for him. I was like, thinking me, like, when I think of a bicycle, I'm thinking of like me when I was like 16, and that would be nothing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, me now, maybe that would be the apocalypse.
Oh, God.
All right, Nigel, did you come up with a movie category?
I did.
What was it?
Sci-fi.
Sci-fi?
Sci-fi.
Sci-fi.
Okay. Sci-fi. Science fiction. Okay. Top 3 science fictions.
All right, I'll pencil that in for later. That's going to be a whole thing. We get to yell at each other over that.
Yeah.
God, we had the people at the shop freaking the fuck out the other day.
Dude, I feel like this is the most gripping content we've had for a long time.
Oh yeah, we've been a podcast now for what, 2.5 years, and like talking about various things of various like intensities. But we bring up movies and have any sort of like anything, any sort of an opinion, and boy, people freak the fuck out. You're wrong, and I'm going to kill you. And it's like, whoa,
you're objectively wrong. None of those movies were even sports movies. I'm like, what?
Jesus Christ.
I mean, okay, legitimately, I know Aaron's not here, and I know we need to talk about this seriously, but in the future, we actually have to restrict it to the fucking category we're talking about.
No, Blood of Heroes is a sports movie. He's not wrong.
I don't think
that's a sports movie. If you have to watch it.
So you've seen it?
Yeah.
Okay, so you tell us what it's about then. Because I think
it's about a sport called Dog Skull, which is like basically Blood Bowl.
So really, okay.
And that's like how they politically resolve, like instead of war, open war, they basically play Dog Skull, and then they resolve their like political differences on the field of death.
Huh. Okay. So it's just
not a sport.
Okay. And Rucker Hauer is a super sweet Dog Skull player. It's a weird movie. There are people. There's just like a person. There's that person that this movie hit. This same person. There's like a Molly Ringwald sci-fi movie that came out in the same era. Like there's just like a band of person that like they didn't watch Big Trouble in Little China. They don't care about Over the Top or Cobra or good movies.
Cobra.
Like
that's more like what I thought we'd be talking about. Yeah. It's like Stallone 90s movies.
Yeah. I mean, crap, that could be a category. I wanted to do sci-fi because my like 2 of my top 3 would be Alien
no
and
spoilers. No spoilers.
Well, yeah, it's just either A, a movie you guys claimed as a horror movie and not a sci-fi, or B, a movie you guys think is dog shit.
People have already grabbed dog shit and put it on their top 3, so it's fine.
Yeah. It's just like Parker's job is to just straight barf.
Ooh,
barf
that's true.
A 3-pack.
I need to check. I assume I won, but I haven't taken a recent tally. There is so many posts.
I'm telling you, people freak the fuck out, dude.
Yeah, I fucking crushed it.
You crushed it? Oh, on the sports one?
Yeah, the sports one. Which is funny, because I was like, can we please not do this week? I am not prepared.
Yeah.
You shot from the hip.
There's like 12 more movies I need to watch.
You shot from the hip. I went straight from the heart. Like, it didn't work out.
And that's generally what I see when you reveal what is true to your heart. People realize how terrible of a human you are, and
which is fine. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
I honestly think that if you guys were competing, if this was like in and of itself was a sport, and the sport topic came up, a pretty safe bet would just be to pick like Kevin Costner movies. It would be like
Waterworld.
Yeah, no, the Field of Dreams, Bull Durham.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
and then For the Love of the Game. You could even go Tin Cup. There'd be rubes who'd like vote Tin Cup.
Parker did that.
Yeah, anytime there's a sports movie and Kevin Costner's involved.
I almost picked Draft Day. I really like Draft Day, but every time I say I like Draft Day, somebody's like, "You're wrong." I'm like, "All right, whatever. I don't care that much."
I was so bummed that nobody picked Blue Chips.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen that.
Like, dude, there's
a
ton of these movies I haven't seen. I haven't seen Rudy. I haven't seen.
I actually met the real Rudy. He came to my job. He did.
Yeah. Sean Astin?
Rudiger.
Oh,
actually, the actual Notre Dame guy.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that impressive, honestly. I'm like, yep, you became nothing. Sorry, bro. He's a speaker now. He goes around and talks to people.
A human victory cigar turned out was exactly what you thought he would be.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I would have liked to meet Sean Astin, though, because my kids would like to hear the story of how they met someone who was in, what is it called? That Netflix show, Stranger Things.
Oh yeah.
They don't care about they don't care about Rudy.
Yeah, or Goonies.
They do like Goonies.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen Goonies.
Oh boy,
I know, right? But see, this thing, I've seen some clips and I want to see it. It's just I never think about it.
I think
if it ever pops up on like a streaming service because it's so old.
I think
so
if watching it as an adult, it's like you've missed it. Like I think if you watch it now, there's no point.
No, yeah,
I don't know because I can watch Sandlot now and enjoy it.
Yeah,
I'm actually pretty good at. I did see Sandlot when I was a kid. What's an example?
Neverending Story. Do you think if you hadn't seen that as a kid and you watched it now, you'd be like, "Oh, that makes sense"?
Should I watch that?
You've never seen Neverending Story?
No, dude.
Jesus
I don't understand.
crispy Christ! All right.
See, I know. How is he even involved in talking about movies?
I didn't get to see movies. The movies I saw were the movies my parents were watching.
Okay.
They would rent movies for themselves. We'd also go to drive-ins. Like we went to drive-ins.
Your family went after the Betamax
because they could just shove me and my sister in the trunk and drive in, and they didn't have to pay for us. So it was like, it was free.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to drive in. Drive-in was fun.
Yep, drive-in is badass.
Yeah. When it's not 103 degrees outside.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see E.T.?
I did see E.T.
Okay.
Jeez, that's like, of all the ones you could have skipped.
I know, right?
Yeah, if you reversed it. I mean, E.T.'s fine. It's just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of, like, things that would have been shit you missed that, like, nobody else
would. So, I did not watch Blade Runner as a kid. I watched it as an adult, and I hated it.
I didn't see that as
I watched Goodfellas as an adult and hated it.
Now, Goodfellas is crazy. What about Casino? Have you seen Casino?
I love Casino, and that's the problem. I saw Casino like a dozen times before I saw Goodfellas, and I feel like it's just like the natural progression of what Goodfellas wanted to be. And that's why I don't like Goodfellas is just boring because Casino is just better.
Okay. We're gonna have to take the Joe Pesci test though. What do you think of My Cousin Vinny?
I like My Cousin Vinny.
Okay, good. So
yeah,
because Joe Pesci's strong enough to carry all three movies in my opinion. Like he's so good.
Yeah, I agree. My Cousin Vinny is one of my favorite movies of all time.
What's that?
My Cousin Vinny is one of my favorite movies.
It's so good. It's one of those movies you like sleep on. You'll kind of like. You've watched it, you've laughed your ass off, you love it, and then you don't think about it for like 10 years, and you watch it, and you're like, Jesus, it's so good.
It's so good. Yeah, there'll be moments in my life where, like, because I work with a lot of younger people, and a moment will come up, and, like, the quote from My Cousin Vinny, something will pop up, and I nail it, and no one else has seen the movie. And I'm like, you sons of bitches need to burn in hell. I hit that so hard, you all have no idea.
Yeah.
Oh, it makes me so mad.
All right, how about this? You guys give me movies that I should watch, and I'll watch them, and I'll give you a review. I'm going to start. I'm going to put the first movie on the list that I hear a lot that I should watch. The Godfather.
Ooh, that one's a good one.
That one is an actual good one. The Godfather 1 is a little bit slow, but then 2 is like bonkers. And 2 is like more of a modern movie. whereas one is like you're definitely watching a kind of a transition of era in like cinema.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it holds up for like a modern audience, but it's very good though.
So
that's the concern I keep having, because every time I like see a clip, I'm like, God, this is so slow.
Yeah.
So the same era. Have you seen Jaws?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No, Jaws is amazing.
Okay, so we talked about Neverending Story. I definitely think that's just a super watch of a movie. There's like a lot of memes or quotes and things from it. Atrax, the horse.
Yeah.
I've seen that clip.
Yeah. The Nothing. That thing was like nightmare fuel for me. Like,
oh yeah,
that dog. Like, as a kid, rationalizing a dog that basically is like siding with Oblivion.
Death.
For the,
yeah,
just
absolute
for the
death.
Yeah, absolute death. Just because, like it was so fucking crazy to me. I couldn't even like comprehend it, because at the end it's like super sentient and cerebral, as having a conversation with like a philosophical discussion with him, and basically like, I'm going to end you just like because I don't know. Is this?
Right, well, I feel like we're just spoiling it now.
Yeah.
Well, and also the idea that the school has an attic that you could just go. You know what I mean? Like you could just slip out and just go and read a book in the attic of the school, and nobody would find you. Like that was just like almost romantic, right? Like
it's not even like it's romantic in a way that's so relatable, because like when I was in middle school and high school, I was like grounded almost like the entire summer. I'd be grounded, and I would be trapped in the yard. Like, and then my parents would get sick of me watching TV, so they'd kick me in the yard, and then I would just have books. So I would just read books in the yard, and like a lot of times I'd be in the garage, or trying to get out of the heat, or like So I was like consuming books all the time, and just kind of disappearing for like 8 hours or 6 hours at a sitting. Basically like that. I just related to that kid, kind of escaping, getting under the blankies under, in the attic of the school or whatever to read his book. Yeah. So it's like, but yes, that you can that he's like able to loiter illegally in the school and like squat.
Yep. Oh man.
Yeah, Brandon, there's so many movies that are like weird, like that kind of inform like a consciousness that like isn't even like, it's not even referenced even like what's that stupid movie like shit, who's the chick from oh my god my brain, I need like Adderall or something, but like this COVID fog
give me a vague description of the movie.
Ass to Ass is the quote from it. Requiem for a Dream. The chick that's in Requiem for a Dream, she's like
Jennifer Connelly.
Connelly. What is that movie where she like worked at Target? Like her and that dude from Pulp Fiction who gets killed at the beginning. They like worked at Target at an overnight shift, and she basically hid in the back room and came out at night, and he was like the janitor overnight. It's called like fuck. But there's just like so many stupid movies that are like fun to watch. Have you seen like Empire Records?
I think I have, but I was
That's a good one.
I don't really remember it.
Yeah, it's just like good. There's like tons of good ones. You like, yeah, it's just a quality one that like a lot of people like grew up with, or you could.
I liked High Fidelity. Those two came at the same time. I enjoyed High Fidelity more, but those two were really good.
So was Requiem for a Dream a suggestion, or just like a reference to
it was a reference to Jennifer Connelly, and then Jennifer Connelly. If you want to know like why Jennifer Connelly exists, this movie with her working at Target is like so fucking ridiculous. Because there's like I don't know. Basically, if you were like going through puberty when that movie came out, your balls instantly dropped, like it was crazy.
So Requiem for a Dream, going back to something that's important, that's one of those movies that you can't look away, like a train hitting like a person. Yeah. Like and you can never, I can't watch it twice. I won't watch it again. Like it's completely like, so it makes you feel like you want to take a shower after you fucking watch it, just because.
Yeah. I would even recommend not watching it, honestly. Like it's not a movie you have to see.
Probably, yeah. Leaving Las Vegas feels that way to me too.
Yeah, totally. Like, yeah, it's affecting, and like it just drains you. It's like exhausting. Yeah. The problem with the movies I should watch is like, I would put Blood of Heroes on that list, if nothing else, just so like you relate to a different generation, like a different audience. But then there's like, you only have so much time in your lifetime, and so like you're chasing stuff that doesn't exist anymore. So it's like, maybe just kind of being in the now and trying to appreciate whatever nonsense garbage is coming out is like better. But
So, Nigel, I feel like I need to warn you. That's your first strike for saying Blood of Heroes on the cast. If you say it 3 times, we're going to have to deal with the situation.
Are you going to give Parker 100 episodes? I can say it a third time.
I'm going to give out your personal phone number on air and to tell everyone to call you for free.
My personal number is literally on my website, so...
I know, but I'll find a way.
All 13 of our listeners will call you.
I'm basically undoxable, and then it has cropped up recently where I just get like these calls.
Yeah, so effectively, I don't know if you know this, but we have driven Ominous insane because we told our listeners to go talk to him about getting T-shirts.
Yeah,
and so he gets now messages from people. He's like, "I need the infamous T-shirt." He's like, "Stop messaging me, you fucking crazy people." It's great.
Yeah.
All right, so I wrote down The Godfather, Neverending Story, Goonies, Empire Records, and High Fidelity.
Got it. So you haven't seen any of those?
No.
But you've seen Big Trouble in China, though, right?
Yes, I've seen that.
Have you seen Point Break?
No.
Oh,
but I've seen, what was it?
Point Break's rewatchable, and if you watch it, Point Break holds up. If you watch it, it's going to make you rethink the entire Fast and Furious franchise entirely.
Like I've seen Fast and Furious, so I don't need to see Point Break.
No. No. Incorrect.
I've seen Fast 7, and let me tell you, I don't ever need to see another movie.
Mm-hmm. The weird part, too, is that Point Break has been remade. So it's like, they even remade it, and you haven't seen that. That thing was a disaster, by the way. That was offensively bad.
I bet it was.
Oh, man.
Okay, a modern movie, Equalizer 3 is coming out. Have you seen 1 and 2?
I have not, but that's actually on like my list of things I do want to see.
So good.
Equalizer was so good.
Yeah, so fucking good.
But I will claim that Denzel is always good.
Exactly. He is like in that Tom Cruise echelon of like, when you go to sit your ass in a theater, you're going to be rewarded. Like, Denzel's not going to leave you hanging. He's going to give you something that you are satisfied with, even if it's not amazing.
I've seen clips of Equalizer, and I want to see it, but again, it's just one of those things that, like, it never pops up when I'm looking for something to watch. So
yeah, it's a great. They're not like life-changing movies, but they're very fun. They're very fun and awesome. I think they're better than John Wick. Honestly, I like them better.
I was getting ready to compare it to that, except they're better than John Wick. Like, I don't actually care for John Wick. John Wick to me feels like a cartoon character movie. Like, it's just so like insane.
I like
the first one's very good, but the other ones are just like, you kind of know why you go to see the sequels. Like, you just want gratuitous action.
Yeah, you're trying to see how they're gonna top it. Like how they're gonna elevate it. But then it's like they elevate it to the point where you just don't care anymore. You're just like, never mind.
Yeah.
I sort of grew up and had my head exploded by like Wu Ping choreographing stuff for like martial arts movies and gun fu movies, and then bringing that into like American cinema, and like that was like for a while that was like the laser focus, is seeing action done in amazing ways. But John Wick basically reapproached it. That's like with the novelty of John Wick, the first one was like, holy crap, this is where if like the Matrix needed to hand the torch off to somebody, John Wick was like a great, because like it kind of, the art of it went away a little bit. People stopped innovating the action scene in terms of like just Mortal Kombat. But then 2 and 3 is just like, it's like too much. It's like cheesecake or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's a good example. I think everyone wants just like a little bit higher level of quality from their action movies, and John Wick gave us that, because a lot of action movies are just like insert random A-list actor and just have no point to what's going on, and just like record people firing downrange. It's like, can we get a little bit of something? Like, can we get a little bit of cinematography and a little bit of like not everything has to be dumb and corny. Like, and so we just want like straight to the point action movies, and that's
you also want dumb and corny, but like you'll notice that like Commando didn't have Commando 2, and then Cobra didn't have Cobra 2. Like, those movies are hilarious and stupid and great, but like
Tango and Cash is Cobra 2.
Yeah, exactly. it's like Big Trouble in Cobra 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but you make the movie, the character stands on its own, and the character is so stupid and one-dimensional and idiotic that if you really put any thought into it, it wouldn't hold up. So you just leave it at the one movie, and then you're good to go. It's fine.
Die Hard 7.
Die Hard, yeah, 22. Oh my god.
Oh man.
Who knows when Bruce started suffering from aphasia, though, right? Like, that could have easily been through. If Kevin Smith theorized that it was in Cop Out, like in that movie Cop Out, and they made like 3 Die Hards after Cop Out. So it's quite possible he was basically a potato.
Oh man.
Wait, I'm not following this. Is this an actual like condition he's been diagnosed with?
Yeah, he's.
Oh, I never heard this.
Yeah, he has aphasia, which is like it's a communicative disorder where he doesn't understand. He becomes like nonverbal and doesn't understand. So he has to always have like headphones. He's essentially doesn't understand his own lines, and he has an earpiece. So for like the last like 15 years, he's had an earpiece, and someone's just telling him what to say, and he says it. And whether or not he hits his marks or acts appropriately in accordance with what the screen needs, like it's random, because he's being told what to do, and but he comes and goes. He like sundowns. Yeah. So and then he has but because of this condition, he kind of kept it secret and tried to work around it, and his agents were covering it up, and so he came off as like being hard to work with for a long time, and that actually isn't the case. He just was having more and more problems.
Okay.
It's actually
super kind of like Alzheimer's.
Yeah, it basically is, and he officially retired from acting because he just physically can't do it anymore. But he made, you'll know, like if you look at Red Letter Media, they did a whole thing about he made in the last like 7 or 8 years. He just was making like 20 movies a month. Like these like dog garbage shit movies.
Because he's like, let's just get the money and like I'll just get through it and we'll be done.
Yeah. And they were just literally like feeding him, having cue cards on set and feeding him lines through an earpiece and dubbing his lines in with a stunt voice person, like not even his voice, like just the dumbest crap ever. And they're just like, kind of in a weird way, he got a free pass though, because it eventually came out. And so people are kind of writing these movies off as like, but
that's too bad. Yeah. I mean, I hate to see shit like that happen to people, but
yeah, it sucks.
All right. Do you have anything you want to talk about for our topic today, Nigel? Is there anything you'd like to soapbox on?
I don't know about soapbox. So what are you guys thinking for topics?
I don't have anything specific.
Okay, anything specific. So I've been trying to talk about something a bit on Muse for like 3 weeks, and it hasn't really flown. And I don't think it's a topic we'll ever talk about because I don't think that we play competitively. I don't think enough of us are competitive enough and get enough games in against meta opponents to where we can codify it. But it's like, I just want to hear literally anybody's game plan into. So like, all I hear from content creators right now is, now that Follow Me has been banned and Deception's been restricted, it immediately turned into let's ban advanced R&D or change it in some way or affect it in some way and start fucking with big guys. And I don't love big guys, but I don't hate them. And I think they're important. I think they're an important part of the meta ecosystem. Because before Malekith, here's the thing. When I played...
Well, hold on. Before we get too far into this, I feel like you kind of give it... Like, it sounds like I kind of feel like where you're going with this. So do you want to just wait and talk about this in the...
Well, okay, just make sure where I'm going with this is that... Yeah. If the next target's big guys, slow the fuck down because the meta without big guys is miserable. If you think it's bad now, it's cancer. It's literally cancer. Sure. It's nonsense, garbage, dick fuckery.
We can do that. We can do this.
Yeah.
Okay. We got this.
Okay. No,
we got you, buddy.
I figured that's where we were going.
Okay.
We got you.
You don't have to tell us to play big guys. We were already there.
Yeah. I just feel like everybody who shits on Malekith is a fucking Web Warrior player, and they just want to, or like a fucking Wakanda player, and they just want to fucking relive like 3 years ago.
You need to save this. This is perfect.
Okay. Okay.
That's what I'm worried about. It's like you're giving up the goods for free. Okay, you gotta have something to take off later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We have spent a bunch of time talking about kind of that, not on the cast recently, but back and forth. So this is a good time to speak of this.
All right, hold on. I need to crack open my next Yahtzee shaker up
here. Yeah. When I talk about an R cast, it's kind of met with
you're an idiot.
It's not even that. It's just that Josh is like, he's very contrarian. I think his baseline is, I want to just as a baseline be contrarian, because I think his life experience has taught him that subscribing to anything someone's saying and at first pass is not worked out for him. You know, like,
yeah.
You know, he's probably been in a lot of like multi-level marketing groups or like whatever. You know, so he just wants to question everything he hears real thoroughly.
Yeah. I mean, that's digging a little deeper is never bad, but
I will say though, I do enjoy that about you guys, that you guys never subscribe to like a slippery slope, like that negativity never kind of like pours in there, or like that like group think of what everybody else is saying. You guys are more of the like everything will be fine, just chill the fuck out. Like everyone is kind of in that mode. Like just play some games and shut up. And that is nice to hear. And currently there is a few other casts that are talking that way too, but we can save a lot of this. We'll go through this in the main cast.
Yeah.
The swag bag stuff was awesome for Show Me, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
I mean, that was awesome. Everybody uses it. It's in everybody's stuff, and now it comes out at every.
Considering we had a last-minute change of plans, I think it worked out exceptionally well. Like everyone, like we had multiple people asking if we had extra grab bags that were playing 40K. Mm-hmm. They're like, "Hey man, these are sweet. Can I get some?" I was like, "Sorry, we ordered more than we sold in tickets, and we ran out on day 2."
Okay, that's cool. That's great to hear. Like, I wasn't happy with the product, honestly. Like, I was very like. When the printer works so great for so long and it's not working the way it needs to work, you know, it's like
you have like a standard you expect to be able to produce. And then if it's anything's wrong, you feel bad.
When exactly. So when people appreciate it anyways, I think that's great. Like it's like it's like but it's great. Like it's a relief. It's like, oh, I can exhale a little bit, but like it's not great in that like if they order from us and they get something new, they'll be like, wait, my old tokens are bad. They'll be, I don't know.
No, I think we'll be good.
Yeah.
There was one. Did you glue a plastic piece and a wood piece together?
100%. I had to make. I just had to get. I had. I don't even
know. So normally, for people that don't know,
you son of a bitch.
The wooden toggle like button things that are on the turn tracker are back to back wood. And then Nigel glued a wood and a plastic piece together because he ran out of wood. And Kenny's like, "Dude, what is this?" And I looked at it. I'm like, I had to turn it over like 4 times. Like, dude, I don't even know. Like, I know what it is. These 2 pieces just stuck together, and I didn't even realize one of them was wood. I thought there was just 2 pieces of acrylic with printing on either side. I was like, well, let me just pop these loose for you. I'm like tapping it on a chair arm. Like, these things are really stuck together.
Yeah, no.
And then I realized what it was, and I was like, oh my god.
Yep.
That was funny.
Some of the variants on the wood was so bizarre that like I couldn't use them. They were just off. Yeah. They were like run off. So, but I had extra plastic objective
tokens. Yeah.
And actually, even that was an improvisation because the file like when I ran the wood, I only ran one color for the score trackers or something like that. Like it wasn't blue and red, or there was like no differentiation between the 2 different players. And I was like, oh, you got to be fucking kidding me. So then I had to like improvise my way out of a fucking paper bag. Like, and that was one of the things just to get the like numbers to work. Yeah, whatever. It was like anything goes. I was like, I hope it's not so noticeable that they'll.
Well, it worked out really well. Everybody liked them.
Kenny was like, what is this?
What is this? Yeah.
Now, I have a pretty good experience with the Muse tokens. I could not figure it out for the life of me. Yeah. It took me like it's actually, I think, on camera. I think I cut it out of the episode or the video.
Yeah.
I'm over there just like tapping it on the metal chair. Yeah. I'm like, these things are really stuck together. And then I realized it was the turn marker. I'm like, why did you tell me this was an objective token?
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I had to do some weird science shit on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Drink number 2. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm on drink number 2.
Yeah. All right. I successfully called Parker last night and guilt tripped the fuck out of him about missing my birthday. That was fun.
Oh, shit. This is the same guy you kicked out of a podcast?
I don't think anybody knows that I've kicked him out of the podcast.
well, okay. But yeah.
I never invited him. He tried to invite himself, and I shut that shit down.
Yeah, that's okay. But then he should feel bad that he missed your birthday.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was really funny, though.
It was pretty.
That was
funny.
awesome. Like, that was one of the best.
This is wow. I don't know how to say this, but yeah.
Because
very good.
Like, for those that don't know and have never met Parker, like, if you've gone to someone's house and they've got a small, tiny dog that gets excited and just starts jumping and excited and jumping and excited. That's Parker. And he heard podcast and it was happening and he thought he could be on it and he did that. And he had misheard. And
he was like texting his wife. He's like, "Hey, honey, I'm going to need to be free Saturday night." And I was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa."
Oh yeah,
hold on.
He was canceling plans. He was finding a babysitter. Like it was a whole thing. Oh man.
Yeah. Oh boy. All right. I think we got everything here. All right, you guys ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Born ready.
The Rivalry.
All right. Now we can get into the real nuts and bolts
the
of
juice.
it.
Yeah.
The juice.
Yep, the juice. All right. Nigel, in which position would you like to be in draft order?
Draft order? Shit.
For the movies.
Oh, shit balls. I mean, I don't think it matters. You can put me dead
it
last.
Matters.
It doesn't matter.
Matters.
Dead last. It's fine.
Well, no, so it's snake draft, so it's going to go, whatever order we go in is going to be reversed every round.
Sure.
So you'll get to pick, if you go last, you'll pick third, and then fourth, and then ninth.
Shit. Now, the problem is you've introduced thought into...
You could just go first, and it would be the easiest.
I mean, trust me, it's fine. You guys
He's
go
got
first and second.
He's got some real doozies here. He's
he's
the
thinking some real scumbucket choices over here.
Yeah,
the thing from outer space, Planet 9.
So, like, the idea... So, like, and let's say I go last, and you guys pick all my movies, which is probably not going to happen.
You have to pick new stuff.
I had to pick new stuff, right? But then I can just switch to things that maybe people should watch. So then maybe I lose in the, like, voting. But maybe people will watch the movies I recommend. So I could just pivot into, like, a different strategy. But I'm not too worried about it. So I'll go last. I'll let you guys rock it.
All right, so Nigel's going to go third. Jeremy, do you want to go first or you want to go second?
I can go first. That's fine.
Okay. So conveniently, we're going to draft in the exact order I wrote it down at the start of the podcast. All right, Jeremy. So Nigel, you said sci-fi. Any specific genre of sci-fi, or just broad sci-fi?
I'd say broad sci-fi. Let's just keep it good old broad.
Good, because I wouldn't know what to do if you picked a specific one.
Yeah.
All right, Jeremy.
It has to be gun-fu based.
Gun-fu. Oh, I mean, I got one.
Gun-fu trench coat based.
It has to be buddy cop sci-fi.
Ooh. Hitchhiker's Guide.
Weird.
That's as close as I get.
So,
all right.
I grew up in the day and age of we would record a movie, and I'd have to watch that same fucking movie all the time. And
because that's what you had.
And I grew up watching Enemy Mine non-fucking stop, and I love it. And I've seen it 4,000 times, and I love it. Enemy Mine.
Is that mime like the silent people, or like mind, or like the mental?
M-I-N-E.
Mine is like an exploding
mine. Like my enemy, like mine. Yeah, Enemy Mine.
I have never fucking heard of that before.
No, yeah, this is one of those movies that we can also put on the Brandon list of.
You should see it.
You should 100% watch it.
It has a.
This is a really good one.
It has a alien that has a baby, and he's a dude. This is fucking forward. This is a very forward type movie.
This is a very forward movie. I had to watch this in school. It was just randomly. They made us watch this in school. I don't even know why, because I don't know. Like in the 80s, they weren't like trying to teach you like woke gender, non-binary stuff. You know, like it wasn't like, oh look, there's like two males who can have like a parental male. That wasn't like what the teacher was trying to get across. I think the teacher was trying to get in the 80s. You're trying to say capitalists and communists can get along and have a unified goal or some other altruistic or idea. is why you would learn it in school in the 80s. But yeah, and now watching it now, it's like,
Yep.
it's a totally weird movie.
Okay.
It's very good though. Louis Gossett
Yep.
Jr., Dennis Quaid.
Yep.
Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, Dennis Quaid. It's got good actors. It's got good budget. It's got great story.
Right.
It hits you in the feels, like all the way in the fucking feels.
It's real long
Yeah,
too for
it's
that
very
time.
good.
I think it was like 2 hours long.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm going to take yours, Nigel. But
Shit, there's no way.
no way. So you're picking 3 movies that I'm not going to pick.
I mean, I think okay. Well, you have at it.
So now that Jeremy's picked something weird, I feel like I should go down the weird train and not do the obvious picks.
I mean, I could be like, I could go down the Parker trail, which would be like guarantee myself.
All right,
top,
so I've
top
got
picks, right, and then
yeah. So I've got 3 like killer, like off the beaten path ones, and then I've got like the fucking serial ones, like everyone's gonna say in like their top.
you
5.
need to have your top. That's the part the ones that are important to you.
But I love those movies. Like that's why it's not. I'm not saying them because I think they're popular. I'm thinking about not saying them because I think they're popular. So let me see. But I just don't want to not name them and have you guys name them because I'll feel like an idiot. Can we just all agree to veto the biggest movies, like the 5 biggest?
I don't know what the 5 biggest would be.
I don't know.
So talk about aliens. So should I name aliens or should I leave aliens?
Are
alone?
you saying aliens as in part 2 and not
Yes.
Alien?
Correct. I think Aliens is superior. I understand they're very different
I think
movies.
the point of this is to say whatever you need to say. You know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah,
no
it's
like
fine.
you know what I mean? There's no like if you say that. So here's the thing. One of the reasons why I chose this category is you guys said on the previous cast that it's a horror movie and not a science fiction movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, well, if I get to choose science fiction, I'm immediately going to say Alien because that's what it is.
So the reason that we usually don't say Aliens is because it's really an action movie that takes place in sci-fi setting.
and
Same with Terminator.
well,
Same with Terminator
Aliens
2.
is
It's
an action
really
movie.
an action
Alien
movie.
is a horror movie.
Correct.
Like those are the two things that people will.
I completely accept Alien as a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
That's fine. But Aliens is really more of an action movie that happens to be a sci-fi movie.
It's
also.
a sci-fi movie.
Aliens.
Yeah, Aliens. They're both sci-fi.
Okay.
They're 100% both sci-fi.
Space Marines.
So you can and Aliens. I wouldn't have said. I would have said Alien.
All right. Well, now I'm going to take it back because I'm gonna say it's an action movie, so I'm not going to say it. I'm going to pick.
Oh shit!
I'm going to pick The Abyss.
Oh my god, The Abyss.
Yeah.
That's a water movie.
Shut the fuck up.
That's a fishing movie.
Do you know how long I had to listen to Connor talk about? You guys should do oceanic wildlife movies that are like the main, like one of the antagonists or protagonists is something that lives in the ocean. I'm like, shut the fuck up, Connor.
You know that's a water movie, right?
He's like, you can pick movies like, and he's like, Piranha. And I'm like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. I was like, I'm not fucking naming Piranha in a fucking movie tier list. All right, Nigel, you are up.
All right, I'm 100% gonna say Blade Runner.
You fucking idiot.
On 100%.
Worst movie ever made.
That is the craziest nonsense take I have ever heard.
It's fucking terrible.
No, it's
That's one of those movies you can't watch as an adult randomly. Like you can't go backwards.
No, it's better as an adult. If you watch it as a kid, I don't think you get the fucking point of it. Like it's and also what the point of it is so subjective. It's a fantastic movie. By this I mean the theatrical cut. Please, for the love of Christ, do not immediately go straight into like the fart sniffing 72-hour dipshit cut. You know, like
okay. So I watched the one that was on Netflix. I think it was the final cut or the director's cut. It was some cut.
Yeah,
but it was absolute dog shit. It was so fucking bad.
If you watch just the theatrical cut, because Ridley Scott doesn't add that much more. He's for some reason keeps expanding on it and like making it longer and dumber and not adding anything. And he's actually probably not all that smart of a person. But like the first one is okay. So just real quick.
Oh god.
You've got Deckard, who's a guy who basically he's just good at hunting replicants, and he has to go through like a series of like 8 replicants. The story's got this just great kind of flow because it's like each replicant is a vignette. For whatever reason, they're not together. He has to hunt them down one by one, even though they're part of like a group like M19. It's like a group of like rebel replicants who have become sentient and want to just live. And he's hunting them down one by one. They each have their own little vignette, like a story and a feel and a theme. And he takes them down, and he gets to Roy Batty. Roy Batty is Rutger Hauer at the end, and you're confronted with like this humanity, like Rutger Hauer's sort of monologue as he's dying is like so fucking fantastic. And then you come to find that Harrison Ford himself is probably a replicant. It introduces that as Edward James Olmos, who is his partner, his rival in the police force, leaves the origami thing, basically saying, "I'm probably hunting you." The movie's fucking great. It's so good. It's so subtle. It's so good. It's so slow burn and next level, and also visually. I think it's still, for me personally, it holds up well. Like, when I watched the new version with Ryan Gosling, I don't really, there's something sort of like a nostalgic, like he put this veneer on it where it's kind of pixely, but like still looks great. Like, Ridley Scott's just a fucking world builder. Like, that dude fucking makes good looking movies, whether it's Gladiator or Alien or whatever. So yeah, if you just watch the regular theatrical cut, though, I will say this is one of the few times that like the studio interference made the movie probably better. Because I've watched the longer versions. I don't hate it as a fan, as a nerd. I like it being longer and having more shit, but it's in the weeds. It's dumber. It's fart sniffy, and it's like boring. Like, I 100% get it. Like, why person wouldn't like it, but like theatrical cut Blade Runner, top sci-fi movie. Period. That's it.
Okay. So it's your pick again.
My pick again, because it's a snake draft.
Snake draft.
Jesus Christ. I feel like the snake draft is just a bad concept, because, man, I'm just off the rails at this point.
Yeah, you probably should have planned ahead of your 30-minute monologue, Parker.
Geez, sorry. Look, I had to sell it. Like, you should.
I'm 100% not watching it. I hate it even more now. Whatever, Billy Madison moderator monologue.
Fires
like,
on
I'm
Mars
dumber having to listen to
monologue. Fucking A. Let me think here. It's between Alien and The Thing.
Okay, well, you're not supposed to just give away the ammunition here, because you're now going to pick last.
What, are you going to steal my pick?
100%.
Because I can also do Escape from New York. That one's a great one.
Wait, you mean L.A.?
Oh, God.
Oh, God damn it, dude. Fucking A.
Yikes.
Jeremy looks so pissed.
So, sci-fi, the more you think about it, actually, it's actually a pretty tough... I should have narrowed this down, because, like, this is tough, actually.
I know, right? Like, it's like, what do I want to, like, represent as my taste here?
Because, like, Terminator 2 Judgment Day,
yeah.
Akira, regular Terminator, obviously Aliens and Alien. We're not even talking about Star Wars, because who gives a shit at this point?
Well, also, they're not that good.
Yeah, Mad Max, though.
Mad Max. Is that really sci-fi?
1,000,000%.
I would really put that in, like, post-apocalyptic and not sci-fi.
I don't think that's a category.
Oh, we can make whatever fucking categories we want. It's in it's like in there, like Bloodsport and like not Bloodsport, sorry, Blood of Heroes, that dog shit movie that Aaron.
I wouldn't even hate if people had like Back to the Future in here.
Yeah.
Back to
the Future.
That's really more of a comedy in my opinion. But
God damn it, dude! It's a science fiction fucking movie. Get the fuck out of here.
Like Hot Tub Time Machines, the science fiction movie.
Yes.
I don't know. Is the point the science, or is the point that they make fart jokes?
They spill energy drinks into a hot tub. That causes them to.
All right, make your pick.
Oh boy, I'm gonna say The Thing.
Okay, solid. The original or the new one?
God damn it, dude, the original.
I know. I was just kidding. The new one was actually surprisingly good.
I know you're just trying to get me to say God damn it, dude, but. No. The original one
that was a joke, but
yeah. The new one, I don't think it's as bad as like people hate it, but yeah, it's not as bad as the remake of Point Break. Yeah, no, people did hate it. I get why, but it's not bad. But it's like the new Point Break. You should hate that movie. The remake of Point Break.
Good choice on The Thing. That's an incredible movie. It's still
Yeah, I
fucking
really
scary.
like the thing.
It's
thing still holds up
disgusting.
today. Yeah.
It's like that.
That's a
monster.
movie that
Ugh.
anyone could sit down and watch and go, "Oh shit, I can see this being fucking terrifying." Yeah. Okay. Let me see here. Which one of these? I know neither of you guys are going to say my last one, so I'm going to go with this one next. Sphere.
Beer?
Sphere.
Don't. Oh, Sphere.
Sphere. Yes.
Phantasm 3.
Final.
Wait.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Sphere.
I think I've seen that movie.
Which one is Sphere? I don't even remember that.
It's what's his name?
Samuel
Jackson. I want to say it's Dustin
Chick from
Hoffman.
Casino. Sharon
Basically, alien ship had at some point crashed in the ocean, and scientists discover it buried under this giant trench. So they send down a science team into this little submersible habitat, and it's the three people: Dustin Hoffman, Samuel Jackson, and the girl. I don't know her name. And they spend like 2 weeks in this underwater habitat, kind of like the Abyss, but different. And they're just researching this alien ship, and there's this like liquid metal sphere in the cargo bay, and there's no evidence of life other than the fact that obviously this is a spaceship. They don't find any people.
Yeah.
And they like putting all these sensors on it, and they're trying to research it, and then weird shit starts happening, and they're not sure if they're hallucinating. It's a really interesting movie. I think it's kind of similar to the movie Arrival, except without the actual aliens being present.
Oh.
But yeah, it's really cool. It's a really trippy sci-fi movie that has you trying to think what's going on the whole time. Jeremy, you are up. I need your next 2.
Oh, I get 2?
Yeah. It's weird how I have to explain the concept of a snake draft to people every single time.
Well, being this is my first snake draft I've ever attended.
We literally did it last week.
Did we? Whatever.
I mean, unless you want me to delete all your Discord votes for your sports movies.
I think I had 1, so go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Big Hero 6. Fucking amazing sci-fi movie. Add it.
Did they make a sci-fi version of Big Hero 6?
It's got a fucking robot, and they fucking fight, and what are you talking about?
Nigel, I need input here.
I think Big Hero 6 would fall into sci-fi, right?
They're fucking like superheroes, and they have like.
It's really bizarre to me that like.
How is that not a superhero movie then?
It's science fiction. They got fucking robots and stuff that do stuff that robots can't do right now. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Is Iron Man a sci-fi movie?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a sci-fi movie in 1950.
I'm gonna have a fucking stroke.
Like,
Why?
War of the Worlds, you can argue is not a sci-fi movie, even though it's just a sci-fi movie. Like, when it was made, it was a sci-fi movie. And if you're doing a period piece, hey, whatever.
It's supposed to be New Los Angeles. It's fucking science fiction, man.
Yeah.
It counts.
I'm in so much pain right now.
What?
Right. Sure.
Sorry,
whatever.
it's not a monster. It's not a monster movie. I'm sorry. Does mine somehow not count?
Basically.
Cool.
I feel like you guys are doing this on purpose.
What do you mean? Are you gonna rewatch Cyberpunk? Or sorry, Blade Runner?
Probably not, because that's probably about ice skating. That's not even a. I'm also gonna put a Tom Cruise movie. Minority Report.
Ooh. Yeah.
Oh.
Which is fucking phenomenal.
Minority Report is good. I like that one. Wasn't it a remake?
A remake?
Isn't there? I thought Minority Report was a remake, right?
No.
It's not?
I don't think so.
I thought it was based on a old movie.
Everything's based on something.
No, but I thought it was a remake of an older film. I must be wrong, because you guys don't think so. But I think somebody just told me that and they were just wrong. Okay, what is going on? Jeremy, are you?
Yes, Jeremy. Something's going on, Jeremy.
Oh, your volume spiked.
What the hell?
Hold on a second. Okay. Mm-hmm. Just to open up Audacity. Oh, it's open. Do you have a track that you've been recording? Okay, that sounds like exactly when it happened. So export that and save that.
Jeez, you edit this together?
Yeah. You won't even be able to tell Nigel.
Mm-hmm. What's weird is how different Discord be. Like, you've just been talking on Discord, and all of a sudden Discord starts picking up like everything all the time.
It's because when Audacity closed, it lost control of its volume, and then Windows takes over the volume control, and it keeps raising your volume until it gets an input because it thinks it can't hear you, which is why his volume spiked, and we could hear his laptop fan. And you can see it's doing it now. It starts going up, and you can hear the laptop. Because it's like, why can't I hear you? And it just assumes you're making noise at all times for some reason. Cool. Did you export it? Cool. So then just hit record again for a new track. It should just start recording on the end.
I'm recording again.
Okay. Let's give it a 5 count so I can sync this up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So let's see. We got Minority Report was your third movie pick. So Jeremy's got Enemy Mine, Big Hero 6, and Minority Report.
Mm-hmm.
Coming back from my final pick, I'm going to go with Pandorum.
Pandorum?
Yep.
Holy crap.
Is that about bears?
What? It is about bears. No, it's not about bears. Why are you so surprised?
That you went, that is like a milquetoast action movie dressed as a sci-fi, like, as a person who was like disqualifying movies based on like, but they basically got like, it was a Tony Jaa that's in Pandorum.
So for me, the way I categorize movies is what is the entire point of the movie. Like Terminator 2, the point of the movie is to show people getting shot, right? Like there's other stuff going on, but like
is
it's
that
really
the point of Terminator 2?
It 100% is there
to show bullets entering human beings.
It is because what they're selling you is an action movie that's wrapped in a skin of a sci-fi movie. Same with Aliens. The whole point of Aliens is to show action on screen. As where Aliens is to build suspense. That's the whole point of the movie. That's why I think you can call it a horror movie.
Why can't you say Pitch Black, though? Isn't that just a better movie? That's like just...
I would accept Pitch Black as a sci-fi movie, for sure.
No, they're both sci-fi movies. I'm just
but I would also
curious
accept
why
it as
you
a
went
horror
all the
movie.
way down to... What's that?
I would also accept it as a horror movie. Yeah. The reason I like Pandorum... The middle of the movie is interesting to me, but not for like there's plenty of fighting in it. But that's not why I watch it. I watch it for like the creepy like evolutionary points, and spoiler alert if you want to watch it, the ending is great. It's so perfectly done. And I could watch the movie just for the 5 minutes at the end. Because I love the way they wrap it all up. And so for me, that's why to me it's a great sci-fi movie. It's because like you could cut out all the fighting and I would still watch the movie.
Yeah.
Because the reason I am watching it, same reason I watch Sphere and the Abyss, the reason I'm watching it is not for the action scenes. I'm watching it because of the thought-provoking moments in the movie. And admittedly, Pandorum I don't think is like highbrow. I think it's like, blockbuster movie, like make money on the summer release schedule. But it does something that a lot of sci-fi movies don't, in my opinion, that I really like.
Yeah. So
I wish there were more movies like Pandorum that were done better.
Yeah. And you've seen Event Horizon, and you've seen
It's
Pitch
been
Black.
a while, but yeah. I've seen, I like Pitch Black. It's a little slow, but it's good.
Yeah.
I think Riddick is just better. If you were going to watch one of them, you should watch Riddick.
Riddick's interesting. And then the third one is like, what the fuck?
That is the third one. Riddick is the third one.
Is it Riddick's
Chronicles of Riddick is the crazy action movie.
Yeah, the first one, you get the second one where he's like in space against No, Riddick is terrible. Get out of here.
Riddick is just Pitch Black, but
better. Where he cures a lesbian of her lesbianism by just being sweet.
Okay, I guess that's what you took away from that.
I mean, there's just a million. That movie is so cringe. It's like you're just.
But like, yeah, it is cringe. That's the whole point.
We did see the same movie, Nigel.
His character is ridiculous, right? Like that's the whole point.
Yeah, not ridiculous in like a Tango and Cash kind of way though. Just more like holy fuck. Like, how did this get past like a writer's room, a studio, like all the process of the quality control? Like, yeah. But I do agree. I think the first two were pretty cool, and then the third one is like holy fuck balls. Geez, so I got to pick a third one. Is that what this deal is?
Final pick.
Final pick. But you've picked Aliens, I don't want to pick
No,
Alien.
I did not pick Aliens.
Oh, you did not pick Aliens.
No, I did The Abyss, Sphere, and Pandora.
But I picked. Shit, what was my 2 pick? Oh yeah, The Thing. So I don't want to pick Alien if I've already picked.
I tried to really avoid movies that were basically action movies that just have a sci-fi like paint job, and so that's why I think if I was just going for overall, I would have picked Aliens and Terminator 2. But that's really just because they're action movies and I love them.
Yeah.
I think Alien's a great pick if you want to pick Alien.
Well, no, I've already gone with The Thing, so I'm fine with that. I was going to pick Alien to meme on you, but I will just go with... this is really tough, honestly. These are like... I thought sci-fi was narrow enough that I'm like, oh...
Yeah, and you realize... That's why I tried to get you to cut it down, and you're like, nah.
I'm going to say Akira.
Akira?
Yeah, holy crap, that's a banger movie.
So should I put that on the list?
I've never seen
one
either.
Should I put that on
You
the
have
list?
not seen Akira?
I haven't. No, I have not.
Friend of mine
Neither of you have seen Akira.
No.
Holy shit nuts.
Okay, so I've seen like half of Akira.
Holy.
I've seen up until the point where he has like a breakdown in the bar, and then I haven't seen the rest of it.
So like, a lot of times when people have that, holy shit nuts, it's because so much has been informed. So many movies have been informed by the when you like are talking about Akira, or like anytime anybody has that reaction, it's like, you haven't fucking seen this. Like they're like,
Akira is like the one that is like the kernel that grows from.
It's like if like someone hasn't seen Caddyshack, you know, like say you've been like at the water cooler and you've talked about like The Water Boy or Happy Gilmore or whatever, and you're just having a fun time, and then you realize I haven't seen Caddyshack, and you're like, what in the motherfuck? You haven't seen like the shit that started the whole thing? Get the fuck in the theater. And then like, yeah, this is basically Akira's kind of that. It's like,
No, I know what it is. I know what it means but Blade Runner was the same thing, and I was hugely let down by Blade Runner. Apparently because I watched the wrong version of the movie is what you're claiming.
I don't know. Honestly, it's hard to say. Like, the theatrical cut is pretty slow, right? And by modern standards. I expected a slow burn movie. Yeah. I expected that. But yeah, there was like no, like the existentialism, like what if crap, like they try and throw at you, just felt so obvious and like not like better done elsewhere. And so in the theatrical cut, the people who picked up on the idea that Harrison Ford is a replicant were literally pulling that out of their ass. Like, that's not even like a feature. The only thing that really is the only reason why that's a thing is because Edward James almost leaves the origami paper, and you're like, oh my god, because you think he's hunting the girl, whatever her name is, and so you're like, well, she's a replicant, so I'm going to be hunting her. So you're living basically outside the law. But anyways, like. But then just Roy Batty and Daryl Hannah and just all the other people he hunts down are just so fucking awesome. Brian James, who's such an 80s, like, that guy actor. Brian James is, like, this huge British guy. He's got just a look to him. He looks like he should be in the WWE or something. Mm-hmm. But anyways, enough about that movie. Anyway, like... rewatch if you just watch I just wish you could sort of uncork it and watch the theatrical. So like, I guess it's so hard to watch it.
I checked out on that movie like halfway through because I was just like, dude, this is so hard to watch. And the similar thing happened with Goodfellas. And it's like there wasn't anything bad about Goodfellas. Like I could appreciate a lot of parts of the movie, but God, it was just like, this is just like, I see what it is. This was the stepping stone that led to other great movies. But at this point, I feel like it's just been done better by later stuff that I've already experienced a lot of. So going back, like, I can appreciate that it was the original concept, but that doesn't make it good.
So we should go all the way back then to Godfather then, and I probably unrecommend it. Because, like, you know, all of those movies are based on The Godfather. So you have The Godfather as the first thing.
That was the problem, though. Like, it's because Casino and Goodfellas are so similar. That's just like, this is just like a remake of that movie almost. Like, I get that it's like slightly different points, but it's like half the fucking characters are the same people.
Yeah.
Like,
particularly the main protagonist,
Right.
and the girl.
They're the same guy. Yeah, I was like this is just a shitty remake.
Yeah, and Sharon Stone in Casino destroys it. Like, it's awesome when she does such a good job that people hate her as a person. Like, people just assume she's a bitch, because her character she's just perfect. Like, I think that's so underrated or underappreciated.
Yeah.
Like, it's as a
Joe Pesci's character in Casino is so much better in my opinion than in Goodfellas, and and then there's a lot.
I don't know. See, in Goodfellas, you've got the go get your shine box, and the whole thing, and he kills the dude from Sopranos, the kid. I don't know. Both movies are so good.
I just feel like you watched it in such an odd order.
Exactly.
And, you had an interesting, people had built it up for you or whatever, and just, I don't know. I watched it in, its natural, it came out.
Right, and I'm sure if I did... how about this? A perfect example. Let's say you had watched the sequels and the prequels of Star Wars, and you had watched them each a dozen times. And you'd seen The Mandalorian and all the TV shows, and then you went back to watch the original 3 movies, I bet you would fucking hate them.
Yeah.
Because they do not deliver on what you're expecting. Because they let us here, and sure, you could make arguments about, the plot and stuff is better than the other movies. Sure. But, Andor and The Mandalorian and Rogue One, and, a lot of these things are just better than the originals. And the nostalgia for those people that started with them, and that's all you had, absolutely, it's important to them, and it's a great thing, and it led to all these other things. But, in a vacuum, a true vacuum, where we're rating them on their individual merits, it's they'd never stand up.
I think that Goodfellas stands up against pretty much anything, though. I think that's an excellent movie.
Yeah. Goodfellas is a weird one, because it's I understand why you could hate Blade Runner. I can't understand. The Goodfellas is just tough because it's as a person, I didn't see The Godfather till after Goodfellas. I saw Goodfellas, then Casino, and then I saw Scarface and Godfather. And I understand academically that, the previous, Godfather and Scarface informed Goodfellas. Goodfellas is just better. It's slicker. It's a modern movie. It's probably the first modern movie with the soundtrack, the fucking quick cuts, the really slick directing. Scorsese is just out of control, and then that's the type of shit that Tarantino is going to basically copy for his entire career. And Casino is I'm not going to disagree that Casino's a better movie, but Goodfellas is better than the other Scarface and Godfather. And Godfather, those are two of the pantheon of So
you're saying Scarface is better than Godfather?
No, I'm saying Goodfellas is better than both of those two.
Oh, okay, Goodfellas is better than Scarface. Yeah, and Godfather. I thought I heard you say it the other way around.
No.
So I'm going to put Scarface on here.
Yeah, that's a good
Scarface movie. It's great. It's a good movie. They're all good. You have to just, but so when you watch the movies that as you sort of go back in time, so if Casino was the movie you're introduced to, it's the slickest, it's the most refined, it's the peak of his game, his editing, everything's just, your dopamine is just fucking getting blasted. Yeah. When you go back and watch the older movies that inform what he made there, you treat it as if it's a period movie or a foreign film. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're watching almost a different era, and so then you're appreciating it for different reasons. I think
a similar thing is we were talking about Chronicles of Riddick earlier. It's watching Chronicles of Riddick and having it be your favorite film, and then going back and watching Pitch Black, you're this is not what I wanted. But if you watch it in reverse, it works really well. And so it's just it's so hard to go backwards once you set the bar. And it's like you're saying, Casino is just so refined, and it's the natural conclusion of that thought process. And so I'm expecting that level of stuff. Yeah. It's Casino is just so much more raw and aggressive than Goodfellas is kind of more leisure. It kind of introduces the concept of there being spied on by the FBI and stuff. It's well, yeah, in Casino, like that's like half the movie. Like we know that. Like it's not like it feels like it's all like they're just touching on these points, which I get that it came first, but
yeah. Jeez, maybe I should have done Mafia movies. Have you ever seen Bugsy?
no.
Mm.
I saw Dick Tracy.
Yeah, no. But, I mean, it's interesting you bring that up because you understand it's Warren Beatty, so that's good. Bugsy's great though. Bugsy's a great, super good movie. And then also, if we had gotten Mafia movies, we could have said L.A. Confidential. We could have had a bunch of, anyways.
You know what? Yeah. Mafia movies would be fun because I would like to finish out the rest of the Mafia movies I haven't seen, and then give some reviews on that.
But think about like Buster Keaton or that type, or Three Stooges. Like there are people for whom those are like probably like the pinnacle comedy and everything else is. But like if we watch it, we just think it's stupid. Like it doesn't relate to us. But I can still watch and enjoy those movies if I'm in the right headspace going in. Like, oh, this is not going to be the pinnacle of actual comedy, but I am going to be in a time machine watching, the best that people had to work with at the time,
Yeah.
That, and you watch it now and you're like, that train was actually moving, right? Mm-hmm. And like he was actually on a train track moving those things and like actually falling. Like he could have died. Like like not like now where none of
they just stopped the train, right? Yeah. They would just stop the train.
I actually just had that sort of realization too of Red Letter Media just did a review of the most recent the Compass, the Golden Compass, whatever the fuck the new Indiana Jones movie is.
Indiana Jones, yeah.
And they were just doing cross shots of like how different the movies looked from even the Last Crusade, which was considered like one of the more slick like Hollywood versions of the OG Indiana Jones. Versus this new CGI, just who the fuck cares? It's all flubber. But the scene was him hanging on the side turret of a tank as it's smashing into rocks, and he literally looks like he's actually in pain, being actually smashed by an actual tank into actual rocks. Like, the scene of him in the original Raiders of the Lost Ark where he's like jumping on the caravan and he's being dragged by the truck, and it's actually him being dragged by an actual truck on a road. It fucking hurts, and you can tell it sucks. Like in a new one,
all you can do is like hold your breath and cringe because you're in so much pain.
Yeah, it was just like it just looks so fucking great. It adds so much to the movie. Even now, like I think to me it holds up still. Even seeing the side by side, like the CGI,
I think the Indiana Jones movies super hold up well.
Yeah. But you watch that new like Avatar movie and you're just like, okay, what is happening? Like nothing matters. So it's like all just flubber shit flying around.
I don't know. The Avatar movies never really grabbed
me.
Yeah. Anyway, we need to wrap it up. We're like super over time. But this was fun. We should do this more often.
Yeah. You should jettison half your cast and have me show up to tangent you guys into.
I mean, Parker's now accustomed being told he can't be on the podcast, so that's not going to be
hard. He's comfortable with it. We're comfortable with telling him too.
Yeah. He's just kind of like holding his headset, standing in the corner, like, now? Can I get in now? Are you coming down for the next tournament?
We shall see. There's no reason necessary. Wait, holy shit! That's actually is that this
Gen Con weekend? No, it's next
Gen
weekend.
Con, okay.
Gen Con weekend.
Gen Con weekend. I'll throw out the feelers and see what people are up to, and then maybe that's it.
If you guys want to come down and crash, you guys can crash at my place.
Yeah.
That way you don't have to drive out super early, and you also might be on time.
Yeah, no, that's true. Well, as long as we don't have like Nick, I think we'll be all fine.
Cool.
Nick is like the guaranteed we're going to be late guy.
It is, because he always says it's you.
I don't think he always says that, and also it's just that was not true. It's like, you know what I mean? Sometimes people would be so off base as not even like you don't even have to. The troll has no effect. It's like so unrealistic. It doesn't matter.
Cool. All right.